Okay, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? HYST podcast. Have you seen this?
Have you heard this?
We have Sam here. We have
Danny,
Eric,
and we're gonna do an interview with Sam. I got a little intro that I didn't use AI for. So I've been watching this guy's journey for a while now, and his content is honestly on another level. He's a Surreal Traveler on YouTube. And I think you're that on every platform, right?
Yeah, Surreal Traveler.
Surreal Traveler. He digs into everything from the world's tiniest nations to the most misunderstood religious traditions. He's a storyteller, a traveler, and a good friend of mine. Sam, it's great to have you here, man.
Thank you so much. Happy to see you again.
So, what's up, man? Like, what have you been up to? When's the last time you've been in America, actually?
Last time I was here was a year and a half ago, so summer of 2024. Every time I come back, it feels... Because the thing about where the countries that I usually stay is that they don't change much, but America's an ever-changing nation, so
Really?
you really see the changes every time you step in, and then you leave for a while, and then you come back, and you start feeling like, a lot of things change.
Yeah. And I love your content, man. There's a lot of information in there, and I just love how objective you are with everything. You're not really taking a side. You're kind of just telling the story how it is. Mainly with like... a big one for me is a lot of the stuff you talk about is Islam, and I don't know. There's a lot of Islamophobia here in the United States. It kind of hits me in the soft spot because my brothers are Muslim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they converted, and
okay,
yeah. And let's just go back a little bit. So, we went to high school together. I think I met you in maybe sophomore year or even freshman year, huh?
Junior year, because I actually moved to River City in my junior year.
So it was junior year.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And so what made you want to start doing this? What made you want to start traveling the world? I know you're Colombian, but can you tell us a little bit of your start? Or?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Colombia. I came here when I was 12. I came to America when I was 12. Went straight to Catholic school here in America. Then I went to high school. First 2 years were at Rio down in Carmichael.
I do remember that.
Yeah, then my mom bought a house over here. She still has it here in West Sac. And I started going to River City. I think I've always been very social, and I've always jumped in and out of, I didn't have one friend group. I had many. So I always liked hanging out with different people. I remember moving to West Sac, and my first friend group was Russians. It didn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Why would you hang out? But hung with them. Then I'd go back to a different neighborhood to hang out with a different crowd.
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned that is because now that I go to different countries and different cultures, I think that helped me a lot. That being able to
I can imagine that helping.
Yeah, respectful of different cultures, especially in West Sac, we have a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
Even just here, just in this neighborhood or in this part of town. So then I went to college and at Sac State, and I studied journalism. I wanted to be a TV news reporter. Just because it came naturally for me. I wanted to be reporting, doing interviews.
You saying all this is just really jogging my memory, because I do remember you, even from high school, you were saying this.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a journalist since high school, even.
Yeah. Well, my teachers told me, hey, you're really good at interviewing people. It seems like it comes easy. You're really good at writing. So back then, there's a lot of writing, not like you were saying, not a lot of AI.
I didn't use AI. What do you mean? I explicitly said I didn't use AI.
Right. Yeah. So, you had to be a good writer to kind of stand out in journalism. Then eventually there's a lot of branches, like broadcast journalism, magazine writing, and all that stuff. But of course, social media came onto the scene when maybe a little bit after Instagram came out 2012. That's kind of crazy to think about. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah. But then that changed the spectrum of social media, what it meant to be a journalist. So then, I was like, all right, I gotta do something. I need to be some sort of journalist, but with something that I'm really passionate about. But at the same time, I just liked traveling to different countries, researching things about different countries.
What was your first country you traveled to and actually reported on?
First country I reported on. That's a good one. Probably somewhere in North Africa. If you look at a map, Europe is not far, North Africa are not that far away. The Mediterranean Sea is between both continents. I think I must have been in Tunisia. It's a country not a lot of people have heard about, but they speak French and Arabic. They were colonized by the French for a while. But then they've been Muslim majority, and they've spoken Arabic for over 1,000 years.
You were there recently, yeah?
And then the ironic thing is that I was just there. I spent even more time in Tunisia the second time around. First time was 4 or 5 years ago, and now Yeah, came back a different animal, trying to report even more.
No, yeah, I mean, I can see all the hard work, and honestly, dude, I think you should be a lot bigger than what you are in the space. Because I mean, obviously, I mean your YouTube channel isn't doing that great. It's doing good, but I feel like it should be way bigger, man. Like just with the substance that there is in there, it should be way bigger. I don't know how, and I don't know why your stuff isn't getting pushed as much. But I mean, your TikTok is doing well, and so is your Instagram. But your YouTube should be huge, man, because your stuff is really good.
Well, yeah, YouTube is always about long form, and I'm not 100% making content. I have my own business, and I have to run the business. I think if I did long form every single week as much as I do short form social media, I would grow. But at the same time, like, I think a lot of people, I think that's where I don't fit into the social media thing, in the sense of a lot of people do it for clicks and views and everything.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely so happy just to make the content that I make. I know that it's something I truly want to report on.
Yeah.
I have a background in the industry. A lot of creators just want to be on social media. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a lifelong project, whatever numbers I have now or in 10 years or in 15, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm happy. I'm happy to be pushing the stories, and as you were mentioning before, I talk a lot about the Muslim countries because I live in those countries. My fiance is from Turkey, so a lot of Muslims in Turkey. It's a Muslim majority country, and it's a religion that a lot of people in the U.S. don't really know much about. Mm-hmm. And we have Christians here, even more Jewish history here. We have a lot of sub branches of Christianity here, but Muslims, we don't get to see it a lot, right? We even have a close relationship with Sikhs and Hindus because we have those diasporas here. But for whatever reason, Muslims, I think it's only 5 or 6 million in this 360 million populated country.
Yeah, and then it's a minority for sure, but I mean, this is one of the fastest growing religions in the world, if not the fastest. But again, there's.
And by the way, I totally understand why. Like I study those things. I like to find out why.
Yeah, why do you think it's the fastest growing religion?
I just think that Islam is like a structure to life. So whether you are a very religious person or you're not a very religious person, I think life in a lot of societies in the West, they've become very open-minded and very progressive. But at the same time, that means everybody has to figure out their own journey.
Right.
You have to self-motivate. And that's something that religion has always given to people. It's given people motivation to, number one thing is to get to heaven, right? That's what every religion is all about. Is like, how do I get, what Buddhist is different, reincarnation, but still karma into the next life. And us going to heaven is like karma into heaven, right? Whatever you do in this life, you'll get into heaven. But I think that Islam is a really good way of waking up at 5 a.m. That's their first prayer. You pray up to 5 times a day. You have a big community. You basically quit alcohol. You quit gambling. You quit adultery, which is a really hard thing to do for people who are in open, progressive societies because that's kind of the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
It's also got a huge emphasis on the family. I think it's a religion of peace. A lot of people say no, that's impossible.
That's the biggest thing for me. And when I've gotten into so many discussions and arguments because, of course, I have a bias towards Islam just because of my brothers, and I understand it a little bit. And everyone just likes to point out the extremist, and I mean, extremism is out there, and it's crazy because they are some of the people that are doing the worst things, like the genocide of the Christians in is it Nigeria,
right?
And that's a straight up genocide, and those guys are saying they're doing this for Islam, so. I hear these things and I'm just like, damn, it's kind of hard to defend it. Like, in my view on Islam and the way I see it, being a person that's born in Mexico, grew up here, and in my background or whatever, I never been out of the country, other than Mexico, and I never been further east than Las Vegas. That's the most east I've ever been.
Yeah.
The highest I've been is Oregon, and I've went maybe halfway through Oregon. So I'm not a very traveled person, but obviously the world's at your fingertips with the internet. And what I've noticed is that, to me, Christianity has had an awakening. It's had a westernization. And Islam hasn't, man. And there is westernized Muslims, the ones that are in the West, and they're growing up with these values. But I think the Middle East does need I would call it Because there's what's the Bible? It's the first. What's the first book?
Oh, you mean the Jewish Bible?
No, just the regular Bible. There's the two books, right? The Old Testament and New Testament, right? Yeah. I think Islam needs a New Testament, man. And I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing in the Middle East is very, very wrong. The way they treat their women, the way they treat other religions. I mean, you can tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whatever gets reported on, and it's like anything, even here in Sacramento, if you watch the local news, it's talking about murder. It's talking about whatever gets highlighted. It's always something that is kind of shocking to the core. For whatever reason, that's what sells. And so I think a lot of in being a journalist, I studied the profession, and I know like how it can be propagated against certain people, or how it can easily pin two groups of people against each other.
Yeah.
So I always look at the way that I study history. I study a lot of history on my own. Is I don't look at the conflicts and the big wars. Of course, I read about them, but I want to know what the periods of peace and things that worked out. So I think that there's always groups that propagate hate against each other. There's also been hundreds and hundreds of years of very relative peace between all Abrahamic religions, Jews, Muslims, and Christians. And then all of a sudden comes along this one leader that says, hey, like it happened in Spain, like the two monarchs came into power 600 years ago, and they're like, we need to kick out the Jewish population and the Muslim population. And there really was no full reason at all. So that's what I mean. A lot of times, a lot of political heads, we don't know the full motivations behind what they say, but they do know that by causing that division and by causing splits in the community, that is ultimately going to be beneficial to whatever goal that they have, which a lot of times it's, power, money, land, territory, influence. That's why I guess we can all see this, right? Anybody that gets into power, how many times have you seen powerful people let go of power? They really don't.
No, they don't.
So to keep themselves in power and in those higher elite classes or whatever influence circles, but basically they're the ones who can pin people against each other. So I mean, I hear what you're saying about Nigeria. I hear what you're saying about the Middle East and everything like that. And it's something that I take in. It's something that I listen to. But I've just I made sure that I talk very clearly about the peaceful times that have been lived all along. I mean, even America, you could say, there's a lot of internal conflict and a lot of talk about we should be doing this, left and right, all that.
Yeah.
But you can still say it's relative peace. Like we have everybody from everywhere living in America, and nobody's fighting against each other on religious principles here. So there's going to come a period in time in the future where people study America and they're like, how did that work? Like, how did all these people from all over the world function in one society? Yeah,
see, because I get into these arguments, and it's like, oh, look at this. It's a Muslim guy. They planned a terrorist attack here. It's like, oh, it's the religion. The religion's telling them to do this. The religion's telling them to do that. And I know you're not Muslim, but again, you're kind of studied it a little bit. And I don't know, man. Whenever that, it's hard for me to like be like, oh yeah, it's not the religion, because sometimes, I mean, they're literally just saying like, oh, this is. But to me, it's interpretation. I mean, it's how that group is interpreting the text, right?
I think people just take scripture. You could take scripture. And this happens in Christianity a lot, where people that are questioning Christianity, they take some verses and they take something from the Gospels or something, and they just read it out, and they're like, "Look, this is what it says." But you have to read basically all the verses, all the context, and there's a lot of context in the Quran and the Muslim holy book that protects Jewish and Christians. So there's a lot of and from what I've studied, in most of these Islamic caliphates is what they called them back in the day. There was the Ottoman Caliphate, there was the Abbasid, the Umayyad, the Al-Andalus, and Jews and Christians were protected, and they just had to pay heavy taxation. Mm-hmm. So then one side says, oh, look, they were protected.
Where was this?
So Al-Andalus was Spain and North Africa. Ottoman Empire was modern-day Turkey, modern-day Middle East. Abbasid, modern-day Iraq, modern-day Persia, those countries, Iran. So what I'm trying to say is one side will look at it and go, oh, look, the Jews and the Christians were protected under Islamic law. But then the other side will say, oh, yeah, but they were second-class citizens. Like, oh, the Quran says the people of the book means Jews and Muslims. They even condemn, the Quran condemns a lot of stories of persecution against Jews and Christians. But then somebody will take it from the other. This is what I'm saying. It's so easy to be, it's your confirmation bias. Whatever you think about what subject you're talking about, it's so easy to find evidence. And it's not just about religion. It's about your take. Like here in America, left and right.
Yep.
You can find endless statistics that'll back up your claim on one side and likewise for the other. So like you were saying at the beginning, I think you said, I try to be objective with everything. And I think that's the only way to go because, like I said, statistics lie. But your confirmation bias is really what decides your true insight on stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I like that take on it. Yeah, I'm telling you, the other day, one of my old coworkers, a good friend of mine, we spent probably half the day just arguing back and forth. He doesn't like Muslims, and he thinks that Islam is evil. Have
you guys seen that? Because we have three people here who live in America. I haven't lived here in almost 5 years. So what is the current take on Islam and you guys don't have to give your own opinions, but what's been the general consensus? Like, are people a little bit more scared, a little bit more questioned? Like, what's going on?
So I think, in my personal opinion, not all Muslims, but the majority are evil, and they do want to kill people, like innocent people. Again, not all of them, but the majority that we have seen. That's kind of their mentality.
Do you think how many Muslims are living in Sacramento? Did you visibly see them here in West Sac? I know there's a lot of Afghan immigration lately, right? There's been a lot of Afghans moving into Sacramento.
Yeah, we have a mosque here in West Sac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been there for years. A lot of years, over 10 years.
Where is it?
It's on 6th Street, right next to Muhammad's, the corner store. It's right next to that.
Is 6th Street here in Broderick, or it's in I forget the streets.
So it's like I don't know if you know where Muhammad's is. It's a liquor store that's kind of the corner of Broderick, pretty much. It's a kitty corner with like a new Mexican restaurant that just opened up. It used to be just some abandoned building.
That's kind of interesting that I didn't know there's a mosque. I might have to go check it out and see what, because I know after 2021 when Afghanistan's regime, we were in Afghanistan for 20 years. Yeah. 2021 is when you guys saw, and you guys probably remember this, there was like people hanging onto planes and they were trying to leave Afghanistan last minute as the U.S. airplanes were leaving.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that were working with American intelligence in Afghanistan, they came, and so that's why there's been an influx of Afghan immigrants. And so I think last time that I was here, 2024, maybe even before that, I saw a lot of Afghan immigration, and I was really interested because I've been to Afghanistan, and I know a lot about Afghanistan, and I know that their Islam is even more different than in a lot of other countries too. So I'd love to talk to some Afghans here in West Sac. Hopefully I can run into some.
Yeah, no, they're definitely here. But to his point, I was, I don't agree with your point, but I agree with it to some extent. I do believe that there's extremism in Islam, and I think it's the extremists in Islam are actually doing what they say they're going to do. They're very extreme. Even the ones that aren't extremists, they follow their book to a T.
So I feel that in history, every single society has had, evil and violence.
Yeah.
So, obviously you've heard of the Crusaders. Mm-hmm. So Christians did it. They'd kill people that weren't Christians, my understanding.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we grew out of it. That's kind of, we civilized. We no longer think that way. I think they have not civilized and they have not grown out of that. That's how I feel.
Okay.
What about you? So, and sorry, I forget your name. Danny. How's been your interpretation of what's gone down?
I just live my life. Nobody bothers me, so I just leave them. I just let it be. Me being a Christian, the same thing. I'm told to just love my neighbor no matter what. And like I said, they leave me alone, I leave them alone. I live in apartments that are primarily Muslim.
Yep.
So my experience has just mainly been with their kids, and it's just that their kids, they're obviously their kids, they're buttholes, but at the same time, like, you know, most of the
All kids aren't really.
yeah, but I mean, that's what I mean. Is like most of this time, it all starts at home, and I'm like, where are your parents at? Why aren't you guys with them? Why aren't you guys, you know, doing this stuff? Because it makes it harder too, since I'm live at a corner. They just come up and they always mess with me. They always mess with my dog, and I'm like, you guys need to just stop.
I think it's because you look Jewish, bro.
Probably,
Yeah, that's probably why.
probably. But I mean, that's the thing. Is like I even like there were times that I brought out my dog and I told them, if you guys don't mess with him, he doesn't do anything. He's a pretty chill dog. He's just, you know, he's just happy to see them.
Yeah.
And they just constantly keep like smacking our window because he's right there. They keep like smacking the hell out of our door.
You know, this is probably a good time to tell you that I've been paying those kids to do that.
Well, I want you to know one of them owes you your money because I chased him down, dude.
Oh, he didn't do it? Oh, hell no. Yeah,
No, he did it. He did it. But he ratted out his friends in a heartbeat.
Damn,
I was like,
dude.
there's no way. Because
That's not halal, bro. Can't be snitching, bro.
don't tell me that. Tell him. He gave up his cousin immediately. He's like, I don't even live here. It was my cousin. I was like, I saw you do it. I chased him down. But, you know, besides all that, like I said, I have no issues. They leave me alone. I leave them alone. I don't really care.
So I mean, I feel it's more like their culture. That's the way they were raised. Those are their beliefs.
100%.
They have.
Yeah, they don't like dogs.
No. I'm not saying
serious.
specifically
No, he's not
that.
talking about
I'm
that
not
now.
saying specifically that. I'm just saying the way they're raised. That's the reason why they're like this. Like, look at how they treat their women. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at how they treat their women. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at how they think it's okay to have sex with a child. I mean, it's horrible. But you, since you've lived in Europe, I'm assuming you see a lot of them over there. What do you think? Is it true that the women are they wearing the hijab happily? Are they like doing that like cool or
Europe
is it
or Middle East? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off.
I mean, I've lived in different parts, Europe included. But your question was, are they wearing the hijab? And
yeah.
else?
So the hijab, is it more like the girl wants to do it, or is it more that she was forced her whole life and that's just what she knows? Like, for example, she was groomed into that lifestyle. Like, you know, does she want to use the internet? Does she want to pick whoever she wants to marry? You know, be more free, or was she groomed to it? I don't know if you've ever heard of those experiments where, like, for example, one monkey touches a banana or something like that, and they all get sprayed with water. And then after a while, all the monkeys think they can't do that because I don't know if you know the experience that I'm talking about. Is that
no? But I get the general sense of the
okay.
question. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. Once again, I started talking about this too when I said that there's not a lot of exposure from in America to the Muslim culture. But when it comes to, I'll answer the hijab question first. I mean, I've been to countries that are very, very Muslim. I've been to the Holy Land of the Muslims, Saudi Arabia. I spent 3 months in Saudi Arabia, where most girls wear what's called the niqab. Niqab is the one that is fully covered, but you can see the eyes. The hijab is just the head cover, and then there's something called the burqa. The burqa is the one that's fully covered. You may not even see the woman's face, but that doesn't really... I haven't seen that too often. The only place I really saw it was Afghanistan. But in Afghanistan, I don't compare it to any other country. It's a very, it's a unicorn country. So the way their culture has been, has developed is completely different than other countries. But yeah, no, I've interviewed a lot of girls about this. You know, I have the same questions maybe that a lot of people have in America. I'm like, hey, you know, we have the conception of you guys, the perception of you guys being suppressed, oppressed, and all this stuff. And I've come to find out that it's like you really have to. Our mentality is just on a whole different stratosphere. They don't. By the way, they don't see it as oppression. At least all the ones that I've interviewed, it's just a devotion to God. Like everybody really lives through their religion in the country, and we have to point out something works with the way that they live their religion, because some of the safest countries in the world are all Muslim majority countries. Saudi Arabia, basically 99% without crime. Countries like Oman, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, where most famously people will talk about Dubai. Dubai is one of the 7 emirates in the United Arab Emirates, also basically crime-free. You have countries in Brunei is a country in Asia, very, very far, but it's also Muslim. Malaysia and Indonesia are also all Muslim. and there's also a lot of good statistics for no crime. So there's something that works in those societies. They're stricter. There's harsher punishments. And I see, and I've also kind of done the pilgrimages with people in Saudi Arabia, just like a Christian would go to Jerusalem. I've seen the Muslims come to Mecca or the surrounding cities, and I've interviewed tons of girls, and they are so devoted to their religion. And that's not to say that there's no problems in all these countries. Of course, there's oppression from men to female everywhere. That happens all over the place. But yeah, I've just come to find out a different side of it. You know, like Saudi Arabian women are, I think 70% of the population are graduated. Same with the country of Jordan. There's a lot of countries that I think we believe are pretty backward. I mean, there's countries like, what religion do you guys think, like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan? What do you think the religion is?
Muslims.
They're Muslims. But if you go there, it's a different kind of...
That's what I was going to say. Are they more civilized? Because I'm talking about the ones that are like, for example, a woman cannot report a crime. Okay? In certain countries, I've heard. In Muslim countries, a woman cannot report a crime. A woman cannot be on the streets by herself. A woman cannot marry whoever she wants. A gay person will get thrown off a building. Those are uncivilized. Like,
whoa, that's uncivilized.
Yeah,
that's a step forward. What are you talking about?
Anyways, like I said,
wait, what are we talking about here, dude?
I'm not talking about every single Muslim. Utopia. Some of them are more civilized. Okay, I think in Christians, we're probably all civilized for the most part.
I mean,
nobody's gonna freaking force you to wear a certain outfit or force you to marry someone you know just cause, or throw you off a building just because you know you're fucking. I mean, you're into homosexuality or whatever. You know, those type of things, I kind of feel like people don't really have freedom. It's not because they want to live that way. It's because they're forced to it. They were groomed to it. The reason why those cities are safer, I wouldn't say is because of morals. I would say it's because of fear. Here in the United States, I think our justice system is very lenient compared to other countries. But I feel that our society, the reason why we don't commit crimes is because we are raised with morals. So we are raised a certain way to respect each other. Obviously, not everyone, but for the most part, we are civilized. We have morals. We're raised with them.
But think about, we're always talking about women in other countries, almost like we only put them in one bubble, which is the partner role of a woman, right? But there's mothers, there's grandmothers, there's young girls, there's daughters. So from what I've seen, there is nobody that's respected more in a Muslim family than the grandmother and the mother. I've seen them inside of the house. So to me, oppressed women, I have to include all women, right? Like the eldest, the middle-aged, everybody. If we start, cherry picking spouse and what's called marital relationships, most women are always going to be at the crap end of the stick when it comes to that. But then I do a full picture analysis. I go, okay, who's the most respected figure in a Muslim family? And you have no idea how respected and how followed a grandmother in their family, in their religion is, in their specific families. And same with the mother. I mean, I see kids here in America, and not just America, but many other countries, talk back to their parents, have no relationship with the grandmother.
Yeah,
sure. You neglect even your first authority. Your first authority is your parents, and then you have your nucleus of the family. They absolutely revere the female leading figures in their family. So I think the conversation should be expanded to, okay, so that they don't seem oppressed because they have a lot of authority. And then there's also Muslim countries, like I was mentioning the Asian ones, the Malaysias and the Indonesians. There's matriarchy Islamic societies there where a lot of the property and a lot of the things get passed down through the mother lineage. So it's not a unilateral religion where you're going to go country to country and they're all doing the same thing.
It's like Christianity.
There's a lot of interpretations, and there's a lot, like the country I was just in, Tunisia. They're very progressive. Women have been able to vote for a long, long time. There's been, they banned polygamy, for example, because polygamy is allowed in Islam in a lot of countries. But they said, no, he said, maybe it should get more civilized. I wouldn't use the word civilized. I would just use the word they have evolved into, being more globalized. Yeah, because Western thought's always there. So they're looking at it too. They're like, okay, should we, but it's almost like in the United States, a lot of people don't want to change the gun law, for example. Why? Because it's a statute that's been around for a long, long time. And it's one of the founding principles of the United States Constitution, right? It's the Second Amendment. And we can get called backwards. And a lot of people look at the United States from outside and they go, why do you guys still have guns? Like
we need guns because if somebody is, for example, someone that is attacking a woman, obviously if it's a man, the man is probably going to be a lot stronger than her. He's going to be able to overpower her. If she has a gun, it's an even playing field. Like she can defend herself. Like it evens out the playing field, in my opinion. So we need guns because of that reason.
Supposedly the Second Amendment is for the militia, and it's so that if the government ever oversteps its boundaries, the militia can rise up and take over.
Yeah, that's the reason why we're all armed.
Speak for yourself.
You need to get a gun. Look, think about it. There's more citizens than there are armies, So obviously, if something does happen, I mean, hopefully, it never happens.
Well, that's the reason why the United States is impenetrable. It's geologically impenetrable, and it's also the militia, dude. You got to account for the militia.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if something does happen, like we are able to defend ourselves. Because think about it, man. I can't carry around a cop with me, I can't just have him on my back. Hey, let's go. I'm going to go for a ride at my friend's house.
You get a midget cop, bro.
I got a gun. Okay, I got my gun. I'm safe. Get a midget cop.
A pocket homie. You just walk around with him.
Hey, then plus, if you call the cops, bro, that cop's going to take minutes to get there to you, man. By the time he gets there, you're dead. Somebody breaks in your house, bro, you're fucking dead. They're not going to go in there and say hello.
You're swatted, bro?
They're not going to wake you up and say, hey, how you doing? How's your day? They're going to go in there. They're going to kill you. You better make sure you got something to defend yourself, man.
Yeah, but see, that's something that's very unique to the United States. And from the outside, a lot of people are like,
you guys are crazy. You guys have guns everywhere.
Yeah.
They're crazy for not having them.
But it's a staple of America, right? So just pretend America had been founded 1,500 years ago instead of 250 years ago. That's basically what they've done. A lot of people, they stick to their principles. Like life was very different 1,000, even 100, 200 years ago.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt America is ever going to change that. However long the American Empire lasts, that might be around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there may be a way of thought, and just even now it's starting to, a lot of people push back on that idea. So it might change, and then people say, oh, look, you guys haven't evolved, blah, blah, blah. But it's like once something is one of the founding principles of whatever theology, whatever ideology you have, and like he feels very, very convinced about it, very, very enthralled about it. And I agree, like there's a lot of reasons for it that Americans feel very strongly about.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to tell him he's right or he's wrong, but it's one of the founding principles of the United States. And so then if in 500 years his descendants are still talking like him, I wouldn't blame them either, because it's just something that gets passed down over and over again. And the moment you start shifting, that's the moment you kind of lose your culture in a way, or you lose whatever principle you had in the past.
Something I want to point out is that, again, Sam, he's not a Muslim. He's talking from a place of what he's seen. It's just what he's seen. He's reporting on what he's seen. He has no dog in his fight. I mean, are you religious?
Me? Yeah.
What do you believe in?
Christian. I'm very Christian.
What do you mean when you say very Christian? What do you fall into a denomination, or what led you down this path?
Well, I just I think I've studied a lot of religions, and I think there's one for everybody. And I was already raised Catholic, being from Colombia. But then having studied a lot of other religions, I felt closer and closer to Christianity. And as you travel the world, you also start to believe it a little bit more, because either you have like divine interventions that happen in your life, or you see it more clearly, or maybe you're closer to the Holy Land, which I kind of am.
Did you have a moment? You're like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah, you guys can ask me about anything. Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I have a question, but I guess you guys want to talk about. You have a question for him?
No, I'll come back to that. You go ahead and ask.
Okay, I have a question. It's off topic. I wanted to ask you a minute ago. Have you ever gone to India?
I haven't gone to India, but I'm planning on going this upcoming year, actually.
God, really?
Yeah,
you know what, bro? You don't have to go to India. I can cook it with my feet right now, dude. Start cooking with my feet. Start rubbing my ass.
You gotta rub your testicles, bro. Rub your testicles and then make him a plate.
Yeah, I'm excited to go and see, because it's a huge country. Let's be honest. Like, India has so many different areas and regions, and yeah, part of the reason I haven't gone to India is because, of course, it's so populated. There's so many people, and there's a lot of stories that I want to cover. So there's a time and a place for that for me, and that's the reason I haven't gone. But yeah, I know what the perception of India is worldwide. And
do you have a strong stomach, do you think?
I don't know. I would say not so much, because I mean, you guys are all Mexican background, right?
Yeah.
So being Colombian, we don't eat spicy. Like, we get conflated a lot being Mexicans and Colombians.
Yeah.
They think Colombians eat spicy. We don't eat anything spicy. So when I eat spicy, my stomach doesn't really function that well.
Okay.
Gives you the bubble guts? Or
Are
what?
you?
Yeah, let's just say
Hey man, it's the same thing with my older brother. He's Mexican, but he can't handle his spice, and that's how I get back at him every now and then. Is I cook something and I make it spicy.
Are you going to eat the
Dumbass
food in
bitch.
India, or are you gonna like take a lunch, or like how are you gonna do it?
That's a good question. I would. The thing is, because I live
Hey,
in.
¿qué fue eso, güey?
The ghost, bro.
That was a ghost. What the hell was that?
What happened?
No, something just fell over. It's probably an Indian ghost. All right. It's fine.
There's probably an
Ricky's
Indian
ghost
ghost
is
out here.
They found out Ricky isn't here. It's like,
It,
man,
it,
screw this shit.
it knocked it over. It's just like,
Oh my goodness.
Head bobbed away.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, dude. What are you gonna do for lunch, dude? That's gonna be.
You survive. Are you gonna
I
take a bunch of snacks?
I get Airbnbs everywhere, so I usually buy the normal stuff that you guys probably eat here too. Rice, chicken, eggs.
Okay.
Oh, another thing.
And to be honest, the Indian food that I've had in the past, it hasn't sat too well in my stomach to begin with. So I'm not sure even if the sauce is too thick or it's really good. I've had it butter chicken and all the different sauces, but it hasn't sat too well in my stomach. So yeah, of course I'll have to try some food in India, but like any other country, I try to stick to my own
Clean
What you're
places.
used to.
Yeah, what I eat.
Have you seen the videos of Indian street food?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, you gotta
I
be
have.
careful.
Well, I have a lot of Indian followers, and they want me to come to India, and they're very proud of their country, and yeah, I'd love to cover.
One thing also that I heard. I mean, I've seen them making drinks and the ice that they put in the
Oh,
drinks.
that one lady?
Bro, hold on. There's like these gigantic blocks of ice, and they make them using rusty ass freaking containers.
Actually, I think it just depends on the area, bro.
Well, I'm pretty sure not all of India is like that, but I'm like, if it's like that, we're seeing it and people are drinking it, it's probably very common.
Bro, you gotta try it, bro.
Hey, try it, but be careful, man.
That'd be your first short right there.
Try it, but in small amounts, man. See how it goes. Hey, I would say, man, be careful, because man,
I usually don't try street food in any country.
That's probably
just
good.
because like hygiene in America is like something that gets actually overseen by some governing body, but in other countries not so much. So I actually don't trust street food that much.
What is your biggest no while traveling? Like, you just will not do something. Like, there's no.
I think maybe street food actually.
Yeah?
That's top of the list.
Yeah. I think because you learn your lessons when you first start going out there. It's like a baby like tasting and grabbing things that they shouldn't. When you're first traveling, you think
Is there something that just completely
Hold on.
destroyed you, blew out your back?
Yeah, that made that rule like the staple at the top.
to be honest, there might have been something. Yeah. I think it was something in Guatemala, and I was literally toilet side for about 5-6 days.
Jeez.
There goes
bro.
your entire vacation,
Maybe-
your entire time to like.
It was actually
study
yeah,
up.
and the thing is, guys, don't forget, like you're still on your own in a different country. You don't
Yep.
know everything about,
Yep.
so you're still like, dude, I'm trying to. The number one rule is keep yourself healthy.
Do you do any like pre-studying of the country that you're going to go to? Like, do you learn what language they speak, or you just like go and you just make it up as you like come across it?
I would say half and half. I definitely choose a country that I want to cover because I have something of interest. But then there's a lot of spontaneity that I leave up in the air. Like I don't just plan every city or every place that I want to go to once I'm there. I'll just kind of let things happen as they unfold. But yeah, like I definitely have some foreknowledge of a lot of the countries.
Do you remember what you ate? They gave you the Hershey squirts?
I think it was some pretty poopy chicken wings from some place. It might have been a street food.
Did you go back and swing on them?
I would have.
You're from
No.
bro,
After those 5 days, after
Not from
you
Broderick.
left Broderick, but Broderick never left your soul, man. You gotta stand on business, bro. Even in Guatemala.
after those 5 days, I would have gone back. Even if it was a woman, I swing.
Bro, you gotta fade on them,
Well,
bro.
so, here's
Exactly.
the thing. It's like you can only guess what it was because you eat at least 3-4 meals a day, maybe little
Nah,
fruits
don't
here
eat
and
that
there.
much, bro. Eat a little bit. That way, hey, when you're in India, bro, make sure you wear a diaper and stay hydrated, bro. Just drink hella. Hey, just in case, you never know.
A lot of Pedialyte
You know?
with you just in
And drink,
case.
yeah, drink
Just take
hella
a
water.
shot of freaking Pepto, right?
Actually,
Chase it down.
Pre-game Pepto.
speaking
Your
of
B&B.
speaking of Pepto, I had these chewable tablets, so every time I come back to the U.S., I bring a lot of Pepto because it's not something you find anywhere really.
Yep.
And Pepto is it like really saves you out of really bad situations. Yeah,
So you stock up on Pepto
I
while you're here?
No, for
What
sure.
does Pepto exactly do? Because I drink it, you know. What
Miracles, bro.
Huh?
Bro,
Miracles.
everything. Like it solves your. So basically, it solves your. If you have gas, if you have the runs, if anything.
Oh, okay.
And
Upset
so
stomach, indigestion, diarrhea.
Yeah,
Look up the commercial. They literally say that all the time.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in a while, man. But
Yeah.
okay.
but then
It's
when
gonna be
you-
in your algorithm now. You're welcome.
I looked up. So I ran out of the chewable tablets recently, I think, and then I went to the pharmacy and I was like, "Hey," and I looked up the scientific name. Pepto Bismol is a brand name.
Yeah.
Looked up the scientific name and I gave it to the pharmacist, and he's like, and he pulls out like 3 or 4 pills, like one for each purpose. And I go, no, America, we have something that covers all of this. Like it's called Pepto, and I showed him a photo and all that. And he goes, no, that's impossible. There's not something that can
That's impossible. What?
We haven't even evolved that far
no
yet,
way.
you liar.
No.
Liar.
And so I was like, no. There's in America, we literally take this and it gets rid of gas because basically it was gas and the runs, whatever. But in fact, I wasn't buying it because something was happening to me. I just realized that I was out, and I was
just
like,
wanted to make sure.
preventatively.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I have diarrhea. He just pulls out the drill. All right, time to put some
All
drills.
right, let's
put some
go.
holes in your head.
Oh my god!
let's release some pressure. Drill holes in your head.
So yeah, Pepto is one of those things that if you guys ever take a trip abroad or anywhere, make sure you stock up on Pepto because it's hard to find abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and speaking of Indian food, they call this is a term for it. Delhi belly is what they call it.
Deli belly, bro.
Delhi belly. So once you get there,
The deli shits.
yeah,
Jeez, dude.
yeah.
Well, you're very brave for wanting to go to India. I don't think I will ever in my life visit India.
Hey,
I think
I
that's
don't think they want you there either, bro.
I'm glad they don't want me there. Man. That's a country like, oh my god, hell no.
have you? What's a country that you would visit then from a distance that maybe
You know what?
From a
I-
distance, you just
No,
get
no,
to
no,
see
no,
it
not
the
from a
plane. You're
distance.
like,
I wants to visit.
that you would do. I was gonna say he admires from a distance.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, like it's on his
You know
number
what?
one.
You know what? Let me- okay,
He's
let me
got it
say
on his
watch.
desktop. That's his
Let
farthest.
me see some watch.
About this photo.
It's just the other side of the river. It's just Sacramento.
I really want to visit Spain someday.
Okay.
And the reason is because I've never been to that side of the world, right?
Okay.
I don't want to just throw myself something that's like hella like freaking insane. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I feel Spain. They speak Spanish. I feel like I'd be able to communicate easily. You know. You know what? But have you been to Spain?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this, watch. Because again, I've never been over there. Are the Spanish? Are they friendly? Are they warming? Or do they just not want to fuck with you? Well, I mean,
So I have a lot of good friends from Spain, but don't forget Spain. I think we also forget this being from Latin America is that they have 5 really distinct regions and they speak multiple languages. So you have what we have is Spanish, which is Castellano. That's like the real term for the language. Then you have Gallego. Gallego is a mix between Portuguese and Spanish that they speak on the west coast. Then you have Basque language, which is a wholly different language in the north. So I'm mentioning all this because basically everybody has their own way of interacting with people. And then you of course have everybody knows Barcelona. They belong to Catalunya. They speak Catalan, but I feel like the people from Barcelona are really, really friendly. And then you go to Madrid, and you're gonna find a lot of Latin Americans in Madrid. You're gonna find everyone, Colombians, Peruvians, whoever it is. So I think Spanish people have they're different than Latin America. You can't expect, like we probably get along Mexicans, Colombians, a little bit closer with same side of the world, a lot of the same heritage. But Spain's not really like that. They have their own history, they have their own traditions, and a lot of it unrelated to the Americas. So I would say not as warm as the Latin American side of things, but I think once you have a Spanish friend, they're like really good friends, like really good people, straight to the point. They're not going to mess around with you. They're not going to tell you you're really nice and I like you, and you kind of know behind your back they might be saying something different. You know where you stand with Spanish people, and I think you guys could agree and disagree. Like you want a friend that you know is with you or without you, and you know.
Nah, I like a bunch of backstabbers, bro. Keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
Gotta keep
so
that trust wall up.
another question. Okay, so this one time I met this girl. She was from Spain.
I know.
Here
She
we
just,
go.
like,
Traumatized.
No. I'm just very.
She's from
no,
Spain. She
I'm
said I was
kidding, I'm
little. She said
I'm
my
just
I don't know what
curious,
that meant.
'cause she was just explaining to me Spain, right? I'm just curious. So, like for example, she told me it's a very affordable country compared to the United States.
Yeah, that's a very good.
So she told me that, for example, you go to a bar, a beer will cost you €2.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, Spain's a good comparative country to the United States because we're used to making like, you know, even poor people, quote unquote, poor people in America, they make a lot of money compared to the rest of the world. Spain is a really good country, like for people, like their mentality is they budget really well. Like I know people that live in Spain and they live in the, you know, the heart of downtown, and their rent is about €400, which is very cheap. Their full wage might be $1,200 a month, and you're like, oh my God, how do they make it? But transportation's basically free. I think phone bills are very cheap, and then the rest they know how to budget. And you see, even flights across Europe are like $20, $25. So I have friends who are like, how are they traveling so much? How are they doing so much?
crazy.
They're really good at budgeting. Imagine you only make $1,200 equivalent over there, but they're really good, and they have a really good lifestyle. There's a lot of beaches, a lot of coastal towns. It's very cheap country, and including going to the bar and getting a drink and stuff like that, or just get it. You can drink on the street in Spain, so you can just
legally. Wow.
Yeah, you can just go and go to one of these convenience stores and grab a canned beer and drink it on the side of the road, and then just go to hit the club, and you don't really have to pay for more expensive cocktails and stuff.
You're pre-gaming at a 7-Eleven in Spain.
Would you say
100%?
Would you say Spain is a safe country where like a tourist can just go out walking by himself? Go bar hopping by himself.
To be fair,
no?
I think a lot of Western Europe, that would be Spain, France, Germany, those countries, England included. I think they're becoming less safe. I think it's kind of like the United States you were mentioning on lenient policy. I think there's a lot of a crime that does go unpunished. You can even go on YouTube and find that a lot of the trendy YouTubers now are going to dangerous neighborhoods in Europe because there's not a lot of police presence in those places. So they go and they try to like get the pickpocketers themselves. It's like a guy with a camera. Yeah. There's people on the metro or the train, and they're pickpocketing people, and they're like, they kind of know because they're like the same culprits every day. So eventually people know, oh, okay, these are the pickpocketers. They grab a YouTube camera and they go.
A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, it's the gypsies and the Muslims are the ones doing that, stealing and doing bad stuff.
But see that once again, like I come back to it's hard to put them in a categorization of being Muslim because a lot of the people in Spain, people aren't that religious, like whether it's like Moroccans or Algerians, Tunisians, whoever it is, they're not like these heavy devout practicing Muslims. So it's like, it's like, let's say you did something wrong and you're like, the Christian did something wrong, and you're like, yeah, I'm Christian, but I'm not really like it. You don't see me going.
Yeah, it's
to
like me doing something and saying Wu-Tang. It's like, yeah, well, they don't even know who I am. Like,
I mean, yeah. So I think I think crime gets more widespread, and anybody's a culprit. If it's lenient, like if there's lenient policies, especially when the lenient policies are for even, let's say, I think below when you're younger than 18, you get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
certain crimes you get tried as an adult, but yeah.
Well, I'm saying petty theft, pickpocketing and all that stuff is not going to be a major crime. But like,
what about if I throw hands with them? Say, try to pickpocket me, and I start
probably
I'll go to jail.
You know what? Maybe that's one of those things that's so vividly happening on the street that people will actually come and try to break it up, and they might, actually.
I'd pay some good money to see you get beat up by some Moroccan kid,
bro,
dude.
I'll fucking drop kicking that kid, bro.
hey, so let me ask you this, bro. If you wanted to set up homeboy, because obviously he's so scared of traveling, like outside of the country, if you want to set him up to have the worst trip ever, where would you leave him, dude?
India, of course. India.
No. So where you've been to? You're like, I had a terrible time
the
there.
Worst place, yeah.
Yeah.
West Africa, like the Senegals, and when it starts getting sub-Saharan Africa.
Hey, bro, be careful, bro. I'm from Senegal. You better. Okay, I'm not from Senegal, but I have Senegalese.
He's got
blood,
about 7% Senegal in him.
Oh, did you get your DNA test?
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I'm black. I can say it.
I think
I'm not gonna say it, but I can say it.
You could say 7% of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually,
that's it. That's all you can say.
A lot of Latin Americans have West African heritage because the slaves came on.
Not as much as me though. Yeah. Anyways,
Ulysses has enough to say the word, and it's all good. He has a pass.
Yeah.
But Mexico didn't keep a lot of the black slaves in Mexico. That's what Colombia, Ecuador, and I believe there's not a lot the Caribbean islands.
Well, that's why you see all these soccer teams, these national teams with a bunch of black guys in them,
right?
Because they kept their slaves. I mean, Mexico is like, nah, let's do work, man. You guys, I see someone do this joke. Hold on.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
see someone do this joke where they're like, yeah, you know why Mexicans got rid of the slaves first? Because they were inside the house watching their slaves work. Like, man, I can do that. Just like, you guys can go. We're going to go ahead and do this.
Speaking of that, I'm kind of curious. Well, I mean, I don't know. I would like to understand, like, why didn't Mexico have any slaves? Like, it's kind of like...
That's a good question.
No, we did have slaves, but we abolished slavery first. 'Cause I'm telling you, they wanted to do the work. They're like, man, that looks fun.
Well, no, the thing is, Mexico already had civilizations. For example, in South America, you had the Incas. In Mexico, you had the Aztecs, and then you had the Mayans. And so they were already set up as civilizations. So the Spanish came and they were like, hey, they're basically like, hey.
They had their own slaves. They had indigenous slaves. They didn't have black slaves.
No, but
they have like slaves like the ones that European kind like that? Swear to God, wow.
Well, tribes would snatch other tribes and then force them to work or sacrifice them, unfortunately. There was a lot of sacrifice to the gods and all that stuff. But then, of course, you needed more. And it was a huge booming industry to trade slaves from Africa.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. My boy, West Africa. Why?
Hold on, I got another question.
No, hold on.
No,
We're planning your next trip.
I got
That's
one.
your
Write it
Christmas
down.
present.
Write it down because I'm gonna forget. This is one something happened recently.
Well, I just think West Africa is hard to travel. The infrastructure is tough. Like even in Arab countries, Middle Eastern countries, there's a lot of infrastructure. You can rent cars and go to a bunch of places. I just think West Africa is very unpredictable. So not everybody has the same trip. Like we could all do the same exact route, and at the tail end of it, we'd all come out with completely different stories. It's known for.
I think I've seen you on a train there, right?
I've been on like ferries, and I'm not saying that I wish you would get this, but it happened to me. I got malaria in West Africa.
Oh, you actually got malaria.
Yeah, I got malaria. So it's like unpredictable. You could be taking pills.
How was that, dude?
It was bad. I mean, you're scared, but it's quite common there. And when somebody gets malaria in West Africa, they're not like, oh my God. They're like, it's like us getting the flu here or something.
No way. So
what take some saltine crackers and a Sprite, you'll be fine.
What were your symptoms, or what did you? How did you know?
You just feel like you have a very strong flu, and then your stomach is messed up. I'm not going to go into details, but you're like, this is a bit different. It's a bit different.
So many pictures of your poop, though. I want to see pictures.
But basically, like you notice in your personal space, and you're like, okay, something's wrong here. And then you go to the doctor, and waiting at the doctor there was an eye-opening experience. Like it's basically an outdoor clinic, and there's people like
that's crazy, bro.
wailing outside, kind of waiting for the doctor, and they're like banging on the doctor's door because the doctor's office is kind of. And
he also has malaria.
That's why. That's why it's taking so long.
That sounds so crazy.
And you have to be very direct.
Everybody just got malaria, bro. Even the nurse.
But basically,
counter.
Basically, a lot of people get malaria in that part of the world. It's just a very dense jungle, very hot and humid, and it's just a perfect thing for malaria comes from mosquitoes. I think Brazil has a similar thing called dengue.
Bro, let's leave Eric there, dude. You said it's called what?
In Brazil, the malaria in Brazil is called dengue because
I heard of that.
Yeah. And sometimes there's like epidemics and some people die from it.
Dengue is that West Nile?
What's it?
West Nile? No,
West Nile.
There might be also dengue in Africa. I'm not sure. I know malaria is the one that's the most.
Because my dad got that. I think he got a dengue, and I think it's called West Nile, right?
West Nile virus.
Oh, you mean the actual name? Yeah, it could be. I don't know what it's called.
Sure.
Yeah.
My dad got that, and I guess he got really sick.
Yeah.
Did you get COVID?
I got COVID abroad. Actually, I started traveling right during the middle of COVID, so I got COVID twice abroad. Yeah.
How was COVID over there? Like everything. How was it?
It was the thing is, we couldn't leave here. Like literally, we were banned from traveling abroad. I remember the date, June 13th, 2021, was the first day America finally let us leave the country. But you had to get a what was it called? The CPR test? What's it called?
Yeah.
Something like that. PR. Something like that, right? There was a test. They would change up the test. So that first year that I traveled was I don't know how many COVID tests I got to be able to go from one place to another. So a lot of people are like, "Hey, you're being a little bit irresponsible. Like you should be." I'm like, "Dude, I'm getting tested every 5-6 days."
Yeah, and I was here in the United States, where I caught every version of freaking COVID, bro. The COVID 360, the COVID 1. I got the PlayStation COVID. I got every single COVID, bro.
You have COVID right now as we speak.
Probably, bro. I have something for sure.
Yeah, no,
it was nothing, bro.
There was one country I remember that didn't have any COVID restrictions. It's Hungary. The country of Hungary. And
I think Switzerland did too. Didn't have.
I don't remember. There was a couple countries.
Yeah, there's a few.
COVID wasn't that bad. I got it.
Yeah.
I was just sick for 1 day, 1 or 2 days. I was bored. Anything. I was hella bored.
My head.
Yeah, I was hella bored because at the same time I was being respectful, so I wasn't out hanging out with anybody. I was just in my house literally for 2 weeks.
I didn't care, but I went to a party. No, I'm just kidding.
Man,
He's like, I was patient.
I was out there spitting on people.
Let me serve you that drink real fast, stuffing your finger in there. There you go.
Yeah, no, it was weird, man. The first year I traveled was all COVID, knowing where to go. A couple places rejected me because my test didn't pass. Then when all the restrictions slowly started getting lifted, then it was like, wow, this is because before COVID it was like all you got to do is have your passport, give it to the person, and that's it. I remember COVID times it was like, okay, got everything in check. Then you got to get like the certificate, this QR code, and you're like sweating. You're like, I booked a flight to this one place, and I don't know if I'm going to be there. So your mentality had to be like, okay, I might be there tomorrow, or I may not be there tomorrow, and always kind of have a plan B ready.
You're sweating so much, TSA agent thinks you got COVID, and they start tackling you down.
So
yeah, no, they rejected me from traveling. I can't remember where, but they were like, yeah, you're because they would have like thermometers.
Yeah,
and so they tested. They got my temperature and. It was too high.
Yeah, I saw your video on Iraq, and the first time you went to Iraq and
Iraq. Sorry,
Iraq.
You rock.
You rock.
You
talking about South Sac? South Sac. I've been there. Yeah.
South Sac, Iraq. I've been to South Sac, Iraq, bro. Let me tell you about South Sac, Iraq, bro.
Let me tell you a funny story about Iraq, though. In terms of, I forget who I was talking to years ago. I was like, I was just in Iraq, and basically I talked for like 5-10 minutes. Then the person looks at me, like, you did all this on a rock?
on top of a rock.
On a rock. The whole context, they thought I was talking, they're doing all this stuff on a rock.
On Earth?
And you go, wow, you did all that on a rock. And I go, a rock? No, Iraq. The country of Earth. So every time I hear Iraq, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Iraq. That's so funny, dude. Did you sock them? Dude, I would have socked them, bro. Set up business on that.
I never expect people to know about anything about these countries.
Like that,
so no.
Huh? Say something stupid like that, just sock them.
But what were you going to ask me? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think you tried getting in, and then they denied you a couple of times, or even on the runway, right? That was so wild, dude.
Runway. He
said he was on the. You can tell your story, but that's so crazy to me, though.
That's interesting. You remember that? That was actually before I even created content. I think I was just posting on my personal page. But yeah, I went to Iraq. I stayed for a month, and they didn't let me on the flight. They were just like, "Hey, where's your return flight?" And I showed them the paper. I was like, I'm leaving. Like, here's my entry and my exit flight.
All right, pause that real quick. One of the funniest things that I saw was you said when you came back the next day, they like hid from you because you were right, dude.
Yeah, I just basically presented. Look, you are entitled to think you're all good to go if you have your. At that time, I don't think there was any COVID restrictions anymore. So my passport, entry ticket, and exit ticket, I gave it to the counter. But they got scared. They're like, oh, like what's the reason? Like they were just so surprised somebody was going to Iraq. And I remember the line was
go there. I'm shocked.
No, guys, I will give you, and I won't give it to you today, but. If you want to know the history of the world, you got to study Iraq. That's where Mesopotamia is, the first language, the first law. Everything comes from Iraq. We just have a very bad impression of Iraq because of us being there for 20 years, right? But anyway, so I was in line, and there was everybody was from Iraq, going back to Iraq, and I was the only one that was like, even people in line were like, "Oh, you're going to Iraq? What's the point? What's the reason?" I was like, "I just really want to get to your country. I want to know." And then they didn't let me on the flight. And then, basically then they made up this
Flagged
thing.
him.
Yeah, they made up this thing where they were like, oh, you need to go get this one paper. And I actually went and got it and came back.
And they're like, holy shit, he's got it.
The whole check-in counter was like 4, literally lights off, everything. I was like, these people really don't want me to get on this flight.
It's lunchtime. I'm sorry.
What was the reason?
We gotta go.
And so then basically the next day, you can sleep at that airport that I was staying at. So I checked into the airport beds, and then the next day I took a different airline. It was the airline that was being really problematic. Next day I flew in, and it was a eye-opening experience.
What did you do for fun in Iraq?
There's a lot, man. Like you see, basically like even older civilizations in Egypt, for example. Everybody goes to Egypt to see what? The pyramids.
There's a lot of scammers over there. Is that true? I've been seeing it. Yeah,
there's scammers everywhere.
Bro, there's no scammers here in Broderick.
That's right. That's actually true. That's a fact. There's no scammers in Broderick.
Yeah, I would say that you can get.
You couldn't say that with a straight face. I'm sorry to cut you off. You could not say that with a straight face.
What do you mean, bro? Hey, you ever had anybody come up to your door and ask you to join a pyramid scheme in Broderick?
I have.
All right, then I'm lying.
Oh yeah. Hey, didn't you say that one of your friends was selling rocks on Facebook?
Oh, dude. All right.
Oh my god.
I forgot about the pyramid schemes that happened. Yeah.
We got a pyramid here too, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're about to tell you at the end.
An old sack. Yeah, you're right.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go. You're saying that Iraq.
Oh, he was asking what
for
I
fun.
did for fun. Oh, there's a lot, man. Like, so they follow. We were talking about Islam earlier, but even within Islam, there's different branches that kind of they believe in different things. And Iraqis have a big Shia branch. They believe differently than Sunnis. Sunnis is like what the more mainstream Muslim believes. They believe in Prophet Muhammad, and their lineage of him has to do with like who he went to war with and who his companions were. Mm-hmm. But then in Iraq, they have a big Shia. The Shia believe in the family of Muhammad, so they have like his son-in-law's shrine, his great, all these different. It's a very beautiful thing to see when you go in one of these shrines. They have some of the first cities, Babylon. Remember Saddam Hussein? Mm-hmm. He had a bunch of palaces all over Iraq.
Yeah.
So then you can go to like his old palaces. You can go to like we were talking about the Tower of Babel. Weren't we talking about that?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay, well, there's just like this spiral like tower that's super iconic.
Are you talking about the one that looks like a jet engine?
It looks like an ice cream almost.
Okay,
It looks like an ice cream
Am I
cone.
wrong?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in Iraq,
So-
and then the north of Iraq is also different. There's a different ethnic group up there. They speak a different language and everything.
They're like Asian, right? They look Asian.
No, they look. No, they have more brownish hair, thicker, fuller beards. They're called the Kurds, the Kurdish people. So they don't speak Arabic; they speak Kurdish, which is a different language.
But they're still Muslims.
Most of them are Muslim now. There's a little sub branch of them that is a different religion, not even Muslim or Christian. It's a whole different thing.
What is that called?
It's called Yazidis. They believe in a whole
Yazidis nuts, dude. You're gonna get me, huh? Don't lie, dude.
Wait.
You're just messing with me, dude.
I swear.
Hit him with the purple button. Hit the purple.
Hey, you know what? Okay. So another question
Yo,
was
he said Yazidis.
another
Is that
question.
real?
Yes,
Dude, I'm gonna do someone so dirty with that. I'm sorry if that religion is the true religion in the world and we're all wrong.
that's not
Christianity-
And we're all wrong.
we're all wrong.
Preemptively.
If that's the right one, dude, and I go to hell for saying, "Hey, do you ever heard of a religion?"
They actually don't believe.
Yazidis?
Let me tell you, they don't believe in hell.
Oh,
That's
wow.
one of the things about the religion. They don't believe in this evil being that we believe in. For example, like most religions believe there's a good and a bad.
Right.
They believe that a lot of it is just good, and you just have bad actions. So they don't actually believe in like a dark hellhole, basically.
Oh wow.
I have a question. If you don't want to answer, we could just cut this part out. But because you still know politics, but when you were in Iraq, did you look up Saddam Hussein? And by any chance, like, what do you think of him?
Yeah, I mean a lot of the history of Iraq has to do with him because I think he was in power for 24 years. He was like the absolute ruler of the country, and yeah, I was asking a lot of people like how have times changed when he was in power compared to how it is now? Because Iraq now is kind of democratic compared to like the dictatorial nature that they had previously. But I got a bunch of mixed answers. A lot of people are like, I think it was better when he was in power. And people are always talking economically, though. People are not really necessarily talking about, everybody has different interpretation of what success is,
Yeah.
Some people might be like, oh, the most religious freedom, the most religious, I could say whatever I want. Other people are like, oh, yeah, but, even people who are more social, like socialists, they used to get boxes of food and they used to get a free apartment, like a lot of old Russia is called the Soviet Union. And you go and talk to people who lived in the Soviet Union, like it was better, it was more stable. We used to get a free apartment, we used to get boxes of food. But then you look at more capitalist, the guy who's like, well, I wish we could have started more businesses because in socialism everything's owned by the state. You don't
own anything. It all belongs to them. Even if you have private land, your private land becomes part of the state, and they can dictate what they do with it. Even if you're living on it, they'll be like, nah, you can live on that half. This other half, we're going to take it for us.
Yeah, and most people around the world, their main thing is surviving. Like I think everybody in America can safely say they're not going to go hungry, right? Like we don't really have to. Even we got SNAP, we got food stamps. Your neighbor could even give you food.
went down for like a month, huh? Yeah, so it was tough for some
Yeah,
people.
unless Daddy Trump goes, hey, you know what? We're not doing this.
But let's be honest,
Daddy
even if
Trump
they
don't play.
even if they cut off all the EBT and all the SNAP food in America, you guys
exactly.
aren't getting. There's no famines. There's you
Well,
guys
you know
are gonna
what?
have
There's
to-
a bunch of lazy people that don't work. That's all it is.
But there's also like a bunch of different programs that'll help you
Yeah,
out.
yeah, you're right.
Even
No, you're
without
right, though.
SNAP.
You're not gonna go-
There's
you're-
this program called employment. You go to
That's
work,
a very
you make
good
money.
thing.
We've basically
You can buy whatever you want.
We basically eliminated one of the number one killers of human history was famines and not enough fertile soil to grow food.
Yeah.
Not enough food to go around. We've eliminated
no food.
one of the,
For sure.
So a lot of times when you ask people like what time was better in this country compared to that country, in this case, Saddam Hussein's, I think they were a richer country, a more respected country when Hussein was in power, and economically people were doing a little bit better. Some people said that. Other people said no, we love it way more. Of course, we did not want to have this guy in power anymore. Very mixed reviews.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like, I have not studied Iraq, but it kind of sounds like they were communists, right?
No. They were. Saddam Hussein.
It was a dictatorship.
Yeah, got one absolute ruler. Whatever he wanted, he would make happen.
But you say that these people will get apartments, they would get free food.
Oh no, I was making a comparison to like if you go to different countries, and I made another example that like if you go to old Russian countries that were called the Soviet Union, so
they were straight up socialists.
What we see as Russia now, just 30 years ago, it was an empire that collapsed. It was called the Soviet Union, and they were the absolute pillars of.
Do you know what socialism versus capitalism?
Socialism gets a little bit more soft, I guess, but they're still the same shit.
No, so
socialism is just a better word of saying communism.
You can go ahead and explain it.
No, you can actually. I'll let you.
Socialism is when you get, this, and then you get this, and then you do this,
and then it's pen, pineapple, apple, pen,
and then you do this. No, I'm just kidding. No, socialism is when you have the government pretty much controlling everything, and the government divvies everything up. They give everything. They make all the money, and then they divvy everything up. Capitalism is more everyone fends for themselves. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So with capitalism, people don't get free stuff?
Of course there's going to be instances of free stuff like there is here. We're in a capitalist society, and people get free stuff all the time.
If you start a business here, however much money you make, of course, let's count how much tax you're getting charged. It belongs to you. And so this piece of land, you buy this house, it belongs to you. In communist, socialist governments, it belongs to the government. They can take it away from you.
Exactly,
and actually, if you're too successful in your business, let's say you do start a business, a lot of of it goes straight to the state. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is they're isolationists, meaning they don't do a lot of trade with other countries, maybe only other communist countries. So there's been instances where they just don't trade enough, and there's famine, for example. Well, that happened a lot in communist countries. They're like, no, we don't need your help, and then they go hungry.
Well, the reason why, from my understanding, is they don't trade with other countries is because they're prohibited to. Like, other countries are prohibited from doing.
They just want to be self-sustaining. They want to tell people, like, we get a lot of our bananas from Guatemala, from Ecuador. If we suddenly stop doing trade with Guatemala and Ecuador on bananas, you're going to see a shortage of bananas in the United States. Yeah. That's what they did. They would just cut off. Like, they wanted it to be self-sustaining. But that you're not going to have as much variety. Like, they're going to have whatever they grow in their country. That's what they're going to be good at producing. But all the variety we see in America, mostly down to capitalism, all the different fruits, all the different products, all the innovative, even food products that you see. How many protein bars do you guys see here from how many different brands you see?
All of them.
There's so many options, dude. You go to the convenience store and you have like 25 different brands.
There's a whole aisle just for that.
In communism, there would be not even one.
Yeah, we work.
We work.
Yeah, of course.
Well, but innovative. That's what. But the capitalism pushes you to innovate.
We give people the opportunity to improve and better themselves. If you work hard, you keep what you. What is that saying?
That's capitalism.
You reap what you sow. There we go. You reap what you sow. In other countries,
philosophy.
It doesn't matter how much you reap. You're not going to sow shit.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, in communism is
I know communism is evil. It's evil. I get it. I'm agreeing. But it's because this guy's saying that he's telling me that socialism and communism are way different. Like, no, they're not different. They're the same shit. It's just like a nicer way of saying
socialism and capitalism are way different.
No, capitalism, yes.
Yeah.
Socialism and communism are the same.
I think
they're very similar.
They're
to
interchangeable.
They're interchangeable. To the point where it's like, you know what? I think you're just changing the word, but it's the same thing. Well, it's like un gato pero revuelto.
Well, one of the things that communism can be different than socialism is that communism is more of a system of government where you can ban religion and you just basically have to commit to the Communist Party. So the Soviet Union, what I was talking about, they didn't allow any religion, and they lasted about 75 years. And so they burned down churches, they burned down mosques, synagogues, they used them as storage boxes. So communism has the right to say you have no religion, and I think that's one of the worst things you can do to a society. Is tell them
they would take away a lot of your rights, and they would imprison you. So my wife's great grandfather, he was in prison during the time of Stalin, and he was a very devout Christian, and they threw him in jail just because he wouldn't give up Christianity. Sorry, I'm sorry. He wouldn't give up Christianity, and he wouldn't say that Stalin was basically his god.
Hey, Stalin, he was from Russia?
Yes, yeah. Joseph Stalin.
He was from a country called Georgia. It's the same as a state here, but it's a
back
country.
Then it was the USSR.
Exactly. Yeah. That is.
And he threw him in prison, and he would not feed him. He wouldn't give him anything until he basically broke and basically stated it. Yes, but my wife's great grandfather, he didn't break down. He didn't say that Joseph Stalin was his god. In a sense of a miracle, his cell was the only cell that had potatoes in it. But nobody knew.
I would have just swung on Stalin, man. As soon as I saw him, just throw hands on him.
Yeah, but you have to think about it. Stalin was always surrounded by people.
Bro.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Like you could swing on him, but let's say Ricky and his brother just
I would call you
Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, can you swing on this guy right here because I'm locked up right now?
Yeah, and then they start adding more. Then they start adding more guys, and now you got Lucy's in jail.
Hey, bring out Broderick with you, homie. We're about to fucking.
Hey, bro, if you think about it, Broderick, they could have stopped World War II, bro.
Doubt it.
Bro, what? Doubt it. That's crazy, this guy, dude.
You know the power of Broderick, homie.
We're worldwide, bro. He's carrying our flag everywhere.
Bro, you know what's sad? I don't know if you guys... No. Well, actually, you know what? We're not going to talk about that, but yeah, never mind. Yeah, Broderick could have stopped that.
Your wife's Ukrainian or Russian?
She's her family's originally from Uzbek. She was born in Moscow. And she came here when she was 2.
She's is she, sorry to ask because this matters, if you're from Uzbekistan, there's a lot of ethnic Russians, like the ones that we kind of typically see, or does she have like Central Asian features, or she looks like she's like from mainland Russia?
She looks like she's mainland Russia.
Okay, so she must have been an ethnic Russian born in Uzbekistan. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, her family is they're all from Uzbek. There was a lot of Koreans there, which I thought was pretty funny.
I made a video about that actually. That one of those very popular video because a lot of people don't know the story that a lot of Koreans moved to Uzbekistan.
That's what I mean is like her family they own land out there, and the government came and straight up just took a whole bunch of it and said, "Hey, you guys have to start building homes because we're having Koreans move in, basically." Oh, and they straight up just took his land that he originally bought and had set off for his kids and his kids. And they straight up just said, nah, we're taking, you can have where you already are, but these other people are moving in, and to make things worse, you're going to have to start building homes for them, so that way when they come, they can already be self-sustaining by themselves.
Yeah, that's why the Soviet Union collapsed. It was supposed to be this empire that lasted hundreds of years, and it lasted 73 or 75 years.
Communism just never works.
No, it never does, but they keep saying that
you know what? You know what, speaking of that, like Asians in Russia, I don't know if you guys have heard of Yakuza?
That's Japanese mafia.
No, Yakutian.
No,
it's in Russia.
The Yakutian people.
Yeah,
Yakutia.
There we go. Yeah. So over there, they look Chinese. That's crazy, huh? Well, they look Asian.
The thing is, Russia's so big.
Yeah, but I mean, like they had a lot of like Asian immigrants went over there. Yep. I mean, they're Russian, but you know they have very.
One of you guys are shaking the table.
Russian.
Well, Russia has 21 republics. We have 50 states in the U.S., but Russia has 21 states inside, and there's a lot of Muslim states. You guys know UFC, Dagestan, Chechnya. Yeah. Those are Muslim states within Russia. You have Buddhist states inside Russia. I think the Yakutians, they might be Christian, but they have their own, like, it's called Tengranism. They have their, I might be wrong about that, but they have their own, their own rituals and stuff like that.
Hey,
go ahead.
No, I saw that. I don't know if you guys seen that video on YouTube. There was a video of, the war, Ukraine, Russia.
Yeah.
So there was this guy who was from Yakutia, right? And him and a Ukrainian soldier, they started fighting. It was insane, man. Really? Like, that was a crazy-ass battle they had. They were fighting, like hand-to-hand. Like, really? I can't remember, one of them took out a knife, right? And the other one overpowered him. It's ultimately the Yakutian guy. He killed the other guy, but it was insane. And to the point where he was just stabbing him like crazy, and he was just fucking saying, like, oh, please stop. Like, you already killed me. I'm dying. Just let me bleed out.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it was hella sad, man. Like, I was watching it. For you, huh? But that guy, though, the Yakutia guy, he kind of like he kind of respected him in that way, though, because he was like, you know what? Yeah, you're dead. Like, you're done. Yeah. And so he left him.
What website is this?
Yeah, that was on YouTube. It was on YouTube. But the thing is, it doesn't show the actual blood because it's the guy, he has like a GoPro on his head. So the Ukrainian guy, he has like some sort of recording device on his helmet. So pretty much you can see what's going on. You can see the other guy on top of him, but you can't see the actual knife going into his body. And you can hear them talking. It's insane, man. But it's hella sad. And then at the end, like the Ukrainian guy, he's like saying like, Mom, I'm coming. I'm going to see you. like or something
That's
like
so
that. He's
sad.
saying something like that.
That is very sad.
And then your Kutia guy, he gets up and he just throws a grenade at him and just walks away.
So Fortnite dancing on his
no,
dead
he
body.
just puts him out of his
Jesus.
misery, man. Because at that point he was just saying like the Ukrainian guy would just say, "Please just leave me. I'm feeling so much pain right now. Just leave me. I'm gonna die." He already like gave up. That was freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was that war. I mean, well, war is very bad. I mean, speaking of that, but war is very bad. But it's insane, like the type of stuff that these people actually go through. You know?
Yeah. I was gonna tell you. I don't know how long you're gonna be in town for.
Till the day after Christmas, so 26th.
Okay. There's this gym here. It's an MMA gym / boxing, and there's nothing but Chechen Russians,
Really? Here in what
Muslims. No, it's in it's off Madison. It's like off 80. But
yeah.
I was training there for a little while. They only speak Russian and Arabic, and I was training with them. It was sick,
They
dude.
probably didn't speak Arabic. They probably spoke their own language. There's a lot of Caucasian language. Literally, they're called Caucasian languages.
I'm pretty sure it was Arabic.
But if they're from Russia, there's no way they can speak Arabic.
I'm pretty sure it was Arabic.
Go back and find out.
They were Chechen dudes.
If you're Chechen, they speak their own Caucasian language and Russian because they.
You know what? There might have been a mix of just Middle Eastern Muslims and those guys, but
Okay.
yeah, some of them were dark
You're
skinned.
right. Yeah.
Some of them
you're
were dark skinned, and some of them were like white guys.
Yeah.
The beard with no mustache.
Yeah.
Dude, they were so sick. They were so nice, dude. And I went there with my brother, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys come for free. You know, your brother's Muslim, so you guys could come hang out for
That's
free."
the Muslim
What if I tell my Muslim,
fraternity.
can I go there for free?
Yeah, they're asking me to convert. I was like, "I'm good, bro. Thanks for asking."
Did they ask you to convert?
No, I mean not really, but they're like, "How come you're not?" You know, and I'm just like, I have my
Wait,
own
tell us
path."
more about your brothers, man. Like, how did who older brothers, younger brothers, and how did they get to it?
My older brother, he converted, man. He went down the path that most people do when they find religion, and that's what he found
Did he
by himself.
Did he just not find that fulfillment in Christianity? Was he Christian to begin with?
No, he grew up Catholic,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, I guess he can tell his story one day, but yeah, from what I understand is
Yeah, that'd be good, bro.
He
Make
went
a podcast of that.
He went through his story he went down the rabbit hole, and that's what he found.
Are you close with your brother?
Yeah, no, me and my brother, we see each other a few times a week.
And what changes have you noticed about him?
I mean, I just know he's really he's dedicated to it. You know, he will not. There's just a lot of things that he won't do. Like,
So he stopped drinking and
he never really.
okay.
No, I never really seen him drink. Yeah, but none of that stuff. It's almost like it was just a continuation of his of himself.
So he was already kind of a good guy,
Yeah, he's very
disciplined
domiciled.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's kind of like me, Eric. I mean, you've seen how I've always been really just relaxed. I don't really drink. It's not really.
Ulysses, when we first graduated from high school, this guy would not drink. Nothing.
Really?
It was insane. Huh?
Yeah, dude.
We'd
I was
be
a
hanging
DD.
out, and this guy would be the only one not drinking. And then one
For
day
years.
you invited me for your birthday, and I came over here
Last year.
and I saw you drinking, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Last year, and it's just very little, and it was.
And I got hammered.
Hell no, dude. I've never been drunk.
Hey, you did a
ever.
magic trick. I was just
Never in
kidding.
my life, dude. I'll try a little bit just for the taste because I'm really obsessive over things. And like when I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this tequila stuff because I saw a YouTube video, and the YouTube video was just like them just kind of explaining how the tequila's made, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. So I was like, I went down this rabbit hole to try to find the best one I can, the best thing that you can have, and yeah, I found some pretty good tequila, and I mean, ever since then, I just maybe once in a blue moon, every couple months, I'll have like a little drink or two, but nothing crazy. But back to my brother, yeah, no, I don't know, it's nice, man. I remember it's a very peaceful religion, from what I understand, and I've always seen it as very peaceful. Of course, there's the people that are the extremists. There's people that make it look awful, and I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard when there's like there's such a bad outlook on it, and you try to defend it. And again, I mean, my brother would tell you the same thing about what I'm telling you, or like if I'm arguing with him or not arguing with him, if we're just discussing religion. He gets, we get into it because I like to play the devil's advocate on both sides because I like to be objective as much as possible, right? Again, there's your confirmation bias, but Yeah, like the first thing people will point to, like he said earlier, is like, oh yeah, the Muslims they love like having relations with kids or whatever, and it's like, no, I mean they don't all do that. I know in Afghanistan, and my brother will tell you, they're a freaking animal, dude. You're saying they're gay, dude. They do gay stuff with little boys blatantly. That's
where you have to separate the culture from religion, because I feel like,
and that's exactly
everywhere you go, it's like,
yes,
and you have to learn the 4 ethnicities of Afghanistan. There's 4 different ethnic groups, so which ethnic group has which culture. Then when you break that down, then you look, okay, well, that's not really Islamic. That's not an Islamic teaching.
Yes,
why would I
I agree,
conflate those two things?
Well, a lot of people can't separate culture from religion. And they're like, it's all mixed together, and all Muslims are like this, and the book tells them to do this. What's his name? Muhammad he married a 9-year-old, and he consummated the marriage at 9. This and that, and I'm like, okay, well, you got to see the context. Like back in that time, it was normal. Mary was what, 12 when she got with Jesus, or not with Joseph? When I think she was like super young, and Joseph was like over 20.
Wasn't Mary a virgin though?
Yeah, but she married him.
Yeah, well, no.
And marriage is when you're married to somebody, there's assumption of consummation.
Well, you just have to study the Arabian Peninsula. That's where Islam was born. Arabian Peninsula was a very different polytheist region, and basically there was a lot of, there was a lot. I'll give you an example. There was a lot of infanticide. There was, if you had a girl and you didn't want to have the girl, you just literally bury them in the sand. Like there's like these practices that, we
very
think
barbaric. Yeah,
barbaric stuff, and there was a lot of. Here's what I've understood about the other parts of the world when it comes to marriage. Like we see marriage here as like a union of love, right? Like, well, I love my girl, and therefore we should be together forever. Marriages in other parts of the world are all about keeping the lineage tight, and like inheritance is you got to keep your lineage, and so then your family talks to another family, and then even if you don't really, it's not so much about love; it's more about keeping everything in the lineage.
I mean, that's also a problem, though.
So let me
let me tell you this, 'cause it's important. A lot of it was to create peace in times of war. So, for example, and this would happen in European history as well, that there was a lot of war, a lot of back and forth, blood feuds. Arabian Peninsula was all about blood feuds. Like if you killed somebody in the Arabian Peninsula before Islam, the other tribe had 7 generations to attack you. Like they could attack down to 7 after. So death was not like, oh, we killed them. And
it's remember that far? Damn.
Well, dude, that's the thing. The lineage. I could even tell you the tribes now. We can even tell you. I can tell you what Muhammad's tribe is today, because it's called the Quraysh tribe, and they still exist. There's still people with last names Quraysh. But back then, so a lot of times it was like you can marry like one big tribe leader to another. It's like, you can marry my daughter, and it was to literally create peace between 2 tribes, and that's how you would, make peace from, and then eventually start something bigger, because eventually you have to all fall under one flag, right? Or one nation or one state or whatever.
Yeah.
So we just see marriage here. It's like, the union of 2, but especially back in those times, it was, we need to create peace. And so you could see a marriage from a distance, and you're like, oh, that looks weird, but it's like, no. I'm just promising the union between the tribes, and that is how we do it. Like, my daughter will marry your son, or vice versa, and it could have been decided at a very young age. So you just study the Arabian Peninsula before Islam, and if you think anything about Islam, just tell me what you think about the barbarism that happened in the peninsula beforehand. It's something to really be shocked for.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's there's a lot of updating I think that Islam needs to do in order to. I think it just needs to become more westernized. The way it's being practiced in the United States, I think, is the best way, because it's a lot more. It's not so barbaric, And the big problem with Islam in the Middle East is that there's a lot of inbreeding. They're very inbred. They have a really, really low IQ in the Middle East because of the inbreeding, and it's a fact. It's a fact that they're super inbred, man. It's crazy. Yep. They're all marrying their cousins and stuff, and the gene pool is just getting terrible. Yeah,
I mean, maybe there's some sort of stat. Once again, remember I told you the stats for me is like whatever you think, you can find a stat for it. But if you don't believe in it, you can also find a stat.
Yeah.
But I think some of the most academic people that I know are from those parts of the world. Like the Syrians are amazing doctors. Iranians, you know how Iranians do it here in the U.S. They become lawyers, they become doctors themselves. Iraqis are some of the best studied people.
Those are probably the ones that don't want to follow that old culture.
No, I mean, but see, that saying probably it doesn't really explain. They're very, like, there was a golden age of Islam in the 9th century where a lot of the medicine that Europe ended up using, it came from Baghdad. It came from, that's why I said, if you guys want to study the good history of humanity, or go to study Iraq from before it was called Iraq and before it was whatever, blah, 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 all the way back. And yeah, the 9th century, Baghdad was the center of the world. Because imagine saying that right now. Baghdad was the center of the world.
Okay, so for example, if these civilizations are so old, they're so great and all this, why is it that their countries are still living in like huts and like mud houses? Like, why haven't they built normal houses?
Which country? Tell me which region.
Like Afghanistan, Iraq. I mean, all those countries in those areas. Oh, Africa, same thing. Like, why isn't it that they don't have buildings like the ones we have? Like, they don't have normal.
I mean, when you're talking about the United States, you're talking about
even
Mexico. Nobody's like the United States.
Even
dude.
In Mexico, bro.
Mexico,
Spain,
there's huts.
I mean, in Spain,
Mexico, there's huts, bro. There's people living in
where
dirt.
I live.
Okay, maybe not where you live, bro. But where I was born, we didn't even have streets, bro.
They don't got that.
I wasn't born there. In
Culiacan?
No, I was born in Mexicali, bro.
Mexicali? Oh, I've never been there.
And I mean, and then you can't tell me that all the roads are paved.
No, they're not. But for example, like how come they don't have like normal houses or normal buildings?
It's
like,
just different.
No,
they don't have
urbanization.
Sewer system. They don't have running water. They don't have like electricity. Like it's like.
Well, I can give you many reasons as to why that happened, but number one thing is the way we construct now. It's only been the last 100 years that people started building big metropolitan cities. Like this thing of having Mexico City, you have 22 million people. There's never been anything like that in history. So the fact that somehow, and remember what happened with the Industrial Revolution, is that everybody used to have a job in their own town. And so it was more about village life than it was about city. Cities started becoming cities and as big as they are because all the jobs came to one center. That's why everything's called metropolitan cities. A lot of it, basically your job in any part of the world, 100 years ago, our jobs would have been completely different. You know, we could have been cement factory workers. We could have been farmers. Those were the jobs. And by the way, they got paid out really well. If you tell somebody now, farmer, they might think you're poor. And so,
not American farmers, bro. American farmers are loaded.
Well, that's what I mean. But from a distance, you're like, oh, you're a farmer. The perception that they might be poor when, you're right, they're not. And so, the urbanization of especially this part of the world came very quick. You know, even we all know Henry Ford for mass producing cars, and so all this country is massive, like overproduction of stuff. So those people, they aren't like that because they didn't go towards that direction. It's like saying, why didn't you guys start building a bunch of metropolitan cities? Their jobs.
I think eventually it will go that way. I think
how long? Okay, you said Iraq is the oldest country in the world. How old is it?
Well, the country of Iraq itself is from only World War II. That's when it adopted the name Iraq.
What about like that whole area? What was it before Iraq?
Well, from the beginning of time, Mesopotamia, Babylon, Assyria.
But even like, for example, like the Romans. I mean, the Colosseum.
The Romans failed, bro.
I know, but look at the type of technology they had, and we're talking.
Well,
about
go to Iraq. They built some of the best mega cities. The first mega cities were built in Iraq. Look, I'll give you a very simple explanation as to why those countries basically turned back the clock or got stuck. Everybody knows this invasion, the Mongols. You know the Mongols, Genghis Khan. You've heard of Genghis Khan? Those guys came from Asia and literally obliterated a lot of the countries in the Middle East, and they almost went into Europe, and Europe would have ended up the same. They used to burn everything down. The Mongols didn't leave anything. Go try to find something like from Mongol invasions. You can't. They would ransack places and leave them for dead, basically. Their methodology was they would strike fear. So, you know, if it was a city that was getting invaded, they'd be like, okay, you can come, and that's the only way it would be destroyed. But if you even fought back a little bit against the Mongols, your city would literally burn to the ground. In fact, there's a river in Iraq that turned black because they said all the books from all. We lost a lot of history during those times because they used to throw all the knowledge, the burning of all the books from that time in history. The river, the Tigris and the Euphrates, those two rivers in the Middle East, they turned black from the ink of the books. So we lost a lot of things that could have pushed us in a different direction. And it was a lot of people attributed to the Mongol invasion, Genghis Khan and his army.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What is the consensus around the world, or at least the places you've been to, about the United States? Do they hate us because we're free? Is that it?
They hate us because they ain't us.
Do the Muslims want to just blow up the Twin Towers just because we're free? Do they want to just blow up car bombs at our embassies because we're free?
Because I have this iPhone, I'm just able to call.
People have iPhones abroad, guys. No, it's wait, what was the question? Oh, do they hate America? Right? No, they don't. I mean, yeah, you see that there's a lot of places that have been directly affected by America, so people have a really negative opinion of America. But I've mostly seen that people abroad are really smart in the sense of they separate the American government from the American citizens. So let's say I've shown up to places where I'm a little bit scared that I'm American, and I'm like, how are they going to treat me? Do I come with a bad reputation? And then I talk to people, and they treat me like what's the most honorable guest, and they're like, hey, by the way, we love America. And a lot of people have family here, so there's always some connection back to the States. Like, oh, my uncle moved there, blah, blah, blah. And then if they don't have any connection, a lot of people would like to move here. So I think that a lot of, let's say, I've been to Afghanistan, I've been to Iraq, and I've talked to people like, hey, do you hate America? And they say, no, we don't like the American government, is what they will say, which I think is a really interesting opinion that they have, because that means they're well calculated. They have a really good impression of American citizens and travelers.
Yeah.
But of course, if any country invades your country, you're not going to have a good impression of their government. So, but I've come to find out that, America's a very popular country. A lot of people like to move to America. Right. But they're also quite shocked at the amount of freedoms that we have, and maybe lack of structure and moral structure is what I've heard them say. So, they're completely different parts of the world. But, for the most part, they still like America.
So what's the sketchiest situation you found yourself in?
Sketchiest situation that I ever found
Something that just scared the hell out of you. You're like, oh, you know what? This is it. Goodbye.
Sketchy situation. I'm trying to think.
He hasn't gone to India yet.
That's not in Broderick.
For this one time in Broderick, no. This one time I was at River City.
Oh my god!
And Miss Restivo,
dude, Mr. Restivo, dude. Hey, you know what?
Restivo scared me. He talked too loud. No, I'm kidding.
I would like to talk to him now.
Hey, why don't
now that we're like grown men,
why don't you bring him to a podcast?
Imagine me talking to him now.
No, we should talk to him, dude.
Bring him in here, bro.
Because he was a history teacher.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it'd be cool to talk to him now.
He was.
Bro, that guy's probably dead.
Most
he was
patient
how old
teacher.
We were there.
Do you know Restivo?
Nope.
He was a diddler, bro. He was a diddler for sure.
He was probably like in his 70s when we were there. Now that's what is that? Like,
but he wouldn't tell kids. The kids would interrupt his class, and he wouldn't tell them to shut up. He would just literally take a break. People would be laughing, clowning, whatever.
And then when people, no, I'm thinking Mr. Schreiber. My bad.
No.
Oh, what was Schreiber? The guy with the long hair, and bald and long hair, right?
Yeah.
That sounds weird. Bald and long hair. That sounds like a contradiction, right?
One patch of hair.
Remember there was
it was very long.
All right. Well, anyway, Mr. Restivo, dude, I used to piss that guy off, but I would love to talk to that guy.
That's the class I met you in.
Yeah.
The short guy, right?
I moved to River City.
He was in the military?
Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah, he was, and he retared. I think.
He had a big old mole, dude.
Same year he retired.
He was a diddler, though, for sure. You know what diddler is?
No, what is
it? Diddy.
Oh, really?
Like kids?
He like Diddy. He like kids. Well, I don't know if Diddy liked kids, but he was just weirdo.
I hope he didn't.
He's just very weird.
Kids? What's that guy's name? Mr.
Bustamante,
bro.
The
coach.
Yeah, the coach of the football team.
That guy was crazy.
He was a weirdo, bro.
It was fucking weird, man.
You can tell people when a person's weird.
I remember I was in his class one time, bro, and he grabbed what the hell's her name's girl's name?
Oh yeah,
that's right. I shouldn't say names. That's right. Okay, yeah. So anyways, he grabbed.
Say first and last name, age, address,
where she currently lives at.
Anyways, so this girl was wearing shorts, right? And
her fault.
She no, come on. She's a little kid, bro. She was fucking probably 15 years old, bro. She was wearing shorts, and this guy grabs her thigh. He pretended that his hand was a dog, so and he grabbed her thigh, grabbed her hella hard. He almost grabbed her badge, bro, like hella high, bro. And I looked and I was like, God damn, this guy, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Immediately to the principal.
He got fired. He got fired, didn't he?
Yeah, he did get fired.
he got
Jail
arrested.
right
he
away.
went to jail.
Right
Oh,
away.
he went to
Jail.
jail.
Yeah, you can't have that shit around.
Yeah. So
Right.
what is the sketchiest situation you found yourself in
I have another question after that.
when
right
you're
now.
like, I'm toast?
Oh yeah. So when I went to Afghanistan, I was pretty nervous. Might be the only country that I was like, should I go? But something told me just go, and I just did it. But there's ISIS is still some of those areas.
Yeah.
So there's the Taliban, which is the governing body, and then you have the ISIS. And we're driving down this road, going from one city to another, and we're in this van because we traveled with like a group of 6 or 7. And I remember the leader of the group. I mean, was like, oh, by the way, this highway is a little dangerous, and so he hadn't really prefaced anybody about it. He was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go this one old town, we're gonna see these ancient Buddhas and blah blah blah. And all right, cool. And then driving back, he's like, oh, by the way, yeah, this is a really dangerous highway. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, this is
Didn't prep you at all. You
Yeah.
He pulls out a gun. This is very dangerous.
You might need this, Sam.
What is dangerous about it? It's just, I'm dangerous.
he hands Sam an RPG. Here you go, Sam.
May Jashid guide your bullets.
But yeah, so he goes, oh, this is where, because basically what causes instability in a lot of countries is that little militias will go into like an unstable country, and ISIS, that's what they prey on. Like if, whatever unstable country, ISIS goes in and tries to filter in. So Afghanistan was unstable for a long time, and so ISIS had a presence in there, and apparently that highway was one of their hideout spots. And so I remember all of a sudden, what you see in unstable countries and dangerous countries is that you'll have a lot of checkpoints for no reason.
Yeah.
You don't know who is the checkpoint.
It's like Mexico, bro.
Yeah, no, but you kind of, well, actually, it could happen in Mexico too, yeah, where you're like, who's like, is that the police or is that the Taliban or is that, and I remember we pulled over and there was a guy in full, the black mask covered with
hell no, bro.
Arabic letters on his forehead. And I think he told us to stop. He waved us down to stop, and I think we just barely stopped. So we didn't stop like we should have.
Oh,
and he
shoot,
just
dude.
he like almost. I mean, he opens because we had one of those sliding doors for the vans, and he opens it with so much force, and he's like speaking Arabic, and so not Arabic, sorry, in Persian because they speak Persian there. And he's like, and there was just something. Obviously, I didn't understand anything. But for a second, I was like, "What's going on?" Or like, because you know how the Taliban dress, and you know how they don't dress. Like they all almost dress the same.
Yeah.
And so then he let us go, and then looking back, and then in talking to a group, I was like, "Did we get stopped by ISIS? Like, did ISIS literally pull us over?"
Yeah.
And I think I'll give you another quick story after that. But looking back, it was really, really scary.
Damn, dude.
And then
It's like you didn't even know how much danger you really were.
but then 2 or 3 yeah, it's like exactly. You don't know how much danger you're really in. And then about 2-3 days later, we get some news that some people had just been shot.
Jeez.
And it was literally some guy with probably AK-47 and just deleted 3 human beings,
Jeez,
3 or
dude.
4. And so that's when it really hit you, like, man, like, why did I come here? Blah, blah, blah. And then for whatever reason, like, I'm a studier of history, and I have the courage. I think it's a God-given courage. You're like, just go.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. But of course, in the moment, then you still get nervous and you're still questioning yourself.
Yeah.
But then the other side story is another one of those checkpoints. It was probably the Taliban this time, not ISIS. Horrible story. Now that I'm telling it, but yeah, the other checkpoint, we get pulled over, and we had 2 women in our group. It was 5 dudes and 2 women, and the women were sitting. There was like 3 seats: the front seat, the middle seat, and the back seat was sitting in the back. And then a girl was sitting in the middle seat next to a guy. And then so the Taliban pulls him over and literally berates the driver and the guy. He's like, "Why is a woman sitting next to a man? Why is a woman sitting next to a man?" And so the woman we had to basically put the woman in a whole, even though we were tourists, and I guess
They had to move her to the back of the bus, huh?
basically, yeah, like you were not
Rosa
allowed
Parks.
to sit next to a woman. It's too close of a proximity to have a woman and a man sitting next to each other. So we actually got pulled over to basically be told that woman needs to be in her
Seating
own
arrangement.
separate seating area, and so we rearranged the seating.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was
tired.
But see, I didn't even remember that story. I had to like really dig in the back of my brain,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Damn, that's crazy, bro. So you almost got...
Yeah,
You almost got deleted.
dude, you kind of go sometimes to those countries, and So I would say mostly Afghanistan's really a unicorn. Like a lot of other countries are completely safe.
Okay, so you think the Taliban are more scary than ISIS?
No, ISIS is more scary.
Yes. I if I had to choose between like what's more scarier, I would say because ISIS is a very unpredictable group and they don't really govern any country. They're just a militia that kind of floats around and they prey on unstable places, unstable regions.
Would you say that if the Taliban see ISIS, would the Taliban attack ISIS?
Yeah, they're rivals. They're rivals.
Oh,
yeah, they're rival. Taliban and ISIS are rivals. And so no, actually, the Taliban now that they're in power in Afghanistan. I'm not condoning anything that they do because their country and their rules or whatever. I followed all the rules that I was supposed to while being there. But they have kept Afghanistan relatively, Afghanistan was a war for 50 years. Even before U.S. was there, Russia was there trying to invade. Before that, there was a lot of civil wars. So they were really unstable, like bombs dropping left, right, and center for 50 plus years. This is the first time, maybe 4 or 5 years since they finally took over, that it's been pretty much no war. I'm not saying it's safe and like you're going to have a great life. In fact, they have a lot of humanitarian crises. There's a lot of earthquakes that happen there too. And there's a lot of things that just, that happen in that country. But at least from the viewpoint of that, is there any war in Afghanistan? No, there's not. Now it's without war. But there's going to be some instability. If the more treacherous you are, like the more you want to go explore hidden gems, and you're putting yourself more at risk. I think if you go to the capital city of Afghanistan, you go there, you see some stuff and go back and leave, you're going to be completely fine.
You said you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. While you're traveling to like all these different places, because looking at some of your videos, you were traveling to like places that have just been built and they've like stayed around for like years and years, like hundreds of years. What's the creepiest thing you've ever seen? Anything like any like ghost stories, anything like that?
Oh yeah, that is a good question. Ghost stories.
Let me think.
Supernatural.
Anything like supernatural that you're just like, I can't really explain it.
Yeah, I would say most of it is not really like ghost, but it's more like spiritual. Like I've seen that like there's a lot of Christians in the Middle East, and I think I was going to answer this question earlier where he's like, was there a moment that you became closer to Christianity? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that there's a few places where you could just feel like the place is really blessed. You feel like people are talking to you, but it's not really a message from him. It's a message from something somewhere above. Mm-hmm. And I've had those instances a lot. And also a lot of butterfly effects. You look back and you're like, oh my God, like how did that happen? And yeah, and so like the story for me was being in Egypt. There's 10% Christians in Egypt and 90% Muslims, mm-hmm. and then the 10% live in Cairo. A lot of a few other cities, but Cairo is the capital city of Egypt, and they're called Garbage City. So because they recycle all of Cairo's like waste, and they basically go around the city. And I mean, think of how demeaning that job is. Like they're looked at in society as like the guys who pick up the trash from all around the city, and of course they're Christian, and of course they're the minority group. So it's like all these metrics of that are not favorable. But then I went into Garbage City. I really wanted to make a video. I wanted to see how they lived. And bro, like it was the most blessed place in the world. Like you're literally seeing flies everywhere. You're seeing like it's a huge dumpster. Really, It really is. But I went in there, and I remember it was almost like a time portal. Like I went in, a lot of things happened. I talked to a lot of people. I saw how they lived their lives. One of the humblest places in the world, and least hygienic also. Mm-hmm. And then by the time that I left, I was just like where was I just at? I thought I was gonna be there for 2 hours. I was there for 10. Yeah, for 10 hours, and then I realized like that place is one of the most blessed places in the world. I looked at the history. I looked at the history of like the miracles that happened there. Some of the not monks, but the what do you call it? Nuns. There's been nuns that have been there and blessed the place. And a lot of people were talking to me, and a lot of people were like giving me mixed messages. And there was a couple of prophecies in there that they told me, and then later on they kind of came true. And I was like, that place, has something. And so I started looking more into Christianity after that, because I was like, one of the biggest things about Christianity is the miracles. Yeah. I don't think any other religion has as many unexplained cases of like a guy has cancer and the next day they get cured, or an apparition or a dream. And so Christianity has a lot of signs, a lot of things that are still happening in today's world. And I think that was my turning moment. And I was like, there's something blessed happening, but you almost have to turn that switch on, and then you start seeing a lot more of it. But yeah, in terms of ghost stories, I don't think I have any. Yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you know how people they question how the pyramids in Egypt were built?
Yeah.
Why don't they ever question how the Aztecs built the pyramids in Mexico?
We made this joke already. God, dude.
Yeah, it's no,
He's not serious, dude.
No, I know. I've heard.
Isn't it crazy? Nobody ever questions it.
Well, the way that it's weird. Like, there's a bunch of other pyramids in Egypt, but the only ones they can't really figure out are the Giza ones. You know, the most iconic ones. But if you go around Egypt, there's more. Or sorry, even in Cairo, just a few kilometers away, there's more. Mm-hmm. And they weren't even the first ones. It's weird. Like, if you go to the first one, it's called the Saqqara Pyramid. And they're like, yo, this is how it was built and blah, blah, blah. And they give you every little detail that you can ask. And then if you even from the distance of the Saqqara, you see the Giza ones. And they're like, yeah, we don't know how they built those. Yeah, and we're like, okay, so even the older one, you know how it was built. But so there's a weird thing where they know some of them, but then they don't know the Giza ones.
Yeah.
So what about the Giza pyramids don't they understand? Like, because I've never seen the pyramids. I don't know what they look like.
I think it's mainly just like the size of each stone. Each stone weighs a couple metric tons. And there's no way that from where they essentially got the stones that it made sense of how fast they built them.
Not just how fast, but the actual physically putting them on top of each other in that fashion.
Being able to
Do you guys think maybe extraterrestrials helped?
I asked a guy that's lived in Egypt and his family's in there for hundreds of years, and I was like, hey, how were the pyramids built? And he said, sound vibration.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And Egypt, if you study Egypt a little bit, they believe a lot of what's called mysticism. So they do a lot of dances that create like energy. And so then you get crowds together, and it's called like Sufi mysticism. Look into it if you ever get a chance. And so it kind of makes sense that maybe in the past, if you get enough people, and it's proven that you can actually make things move with sound waves, and you can lift things with pure sound. So I think if you're able to kind of like combine sound in a way,
it's like breaking glass when you like.
That's another thing. So they might have been able to with some. I don't know. I mean, that's what he said. Of course, who knows if it's true or not.
Yeah, no, that's another rabbit hole I'd like to go down maybe some other time. But I think we're almost at 2 hours. I didn't want to.
Wow.
Yeah, I did want to get into a little bit of religion, man. And I know you just said a little bit of what made you go down that rabbit hole. So you said you're a Christian now.
I've always been. Yeah, I've always been Catholic. I've always. I think I probably stepped away from it being so devout, and I didn't really know the history of Christianity, like as a religion. Mm-hmm. I started studying a lot more, like how it came together, what the first Christians did, why they were persecuted, how they became an empire, blah blah blah. So I think I got more into that, but also personally, I also became closer to Jesus Christ for sure.
Okay, and I know you're close to like a lot of Muslim people and Islam in general. Why haven't you converted to Islam?
Well, I mean, you can talk about Jesus Christ with Muslims a lot because they have them. They have Jesus a prophet in the Quran. And
mightiest prophet, yeah.
He's mentioned 25 times in the Quran. There's a whole chapter dedicated to Mary. There's a lot of like Gnostic stories of Jesus. There's one where I think he turned a clay bird into a real bird, but that's not in any of the canon of the New Testament. It's in a Gnostic gospel that didn't make it onto the New Testament. So you could see that there's a lot of overlaps there. They highly respect Jesus, and you can always have a conversation about Jesus with Muslims. It's just whether you're going to go to the point of contention, which is they believe that Jesus was not fully crucified, that he was taken up before he was crucified, and then obviously we believe in Christianity that he was in fact crucified and then he resurrected.
There is some Muslims now that are changing their thoughts on the crucifixion. It's like newer. I think there's like a Muslim scholar that just said that, like, I think he did get crucified, but it doesn't answer my question. My question is: are you ever gonna read the Quran, and you think you would convert to Islam at any point? Is that something that you would be open to, or you're kind of just? I think
you
think you found your way.
I think the thing is, because I study so many. I think we all talk about like the main religions. You know, we always talk about Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, but I study so many different sub-religions that I can sit here for 10 hours and then name all of the ones that I've read about. But the one that I just feel the most connected to is Christianity. Yeah. And so at this point in my life, I would say no, I don't think I would convert. But at the same time, I'm not one of those guys that says my religion against yours or against anybody's. I just think we can always find like common ground between all of them. and share ideas and share thoughts and be. I always say like a respectful approach.
Yeah,
but
sure.
No, there's just a few things about Islam that like maybe if they convince me, then maybe I could give it a thought. But it's almost like, you know, if there's a couple of things that you just can't get through in your head that you're like, no, that I just don't understand that, then you can't really accept it fully, you know. And I think I've never found a point in Christianity where I'm like, I don't really believe. Like most of the things I've said about Christianity, I'm like, oh yeah, I believe that, and I can get around the idea of that, and so it's easier to embrace for me. Yeah. Like, of course, your brothers, for example, they see something in Islam that they embraced, and you even said it. You said that it made them more peaceful and all that. I think it all comes down to that. Are you a better person from whatever religion that you embrace?
Yeah, and that's like one of my main points that I always tell people is that I don't think any religion is inherently wrong. I think the people's interpretation can be wrong, and it's usually when they're committing acts of violence is when I condemn it. It's like, yeah, they're reading it wrong. They're not following it because this other guy's going to tell you how wrong you are. You know, it's like
which is fine. I have a lot of mixed ideologies in my head because I'm always having discussions with people who I'm not trying to convince, but I like to talk about it. I like to ask them like, what do you believe and why do you believe it? Yeah. And it's really interesting for me because I mean, I don't blame anybody. I don't even judge the individual. I just know like if you're born into a particular culture, how am I supposed to like point fingers at you for believing what you believe? You were born into it, you were indoctrinated into it. So I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you overnight. That's never going to happen. Nobody's ever been convinced overnight. Yeah. You know? Unless, like I was telling him, maybe you have a very vivid dream. I've seen a lot of people convert from one religion to another, especially from different religions into Christianity because they have one big dream or something. So maybe that's the only exception where like you might turn your life upside down because you have one of those experiences. But a human being to another human being convincing you overnight, it's just never going to happen. So it's better to share ideas, maybe share some of the stuff they don't know about, and maybe they look into it on their own, and all of a sudden they find something in there. It's always like self-investigation.
It has to be, I think. And right now I'm actually going through like kind of a journey. I've always seen myself as a person who believes in a God, but I've never believed in a religion. Mm-hmm. And I just think that man and humans are always going to be looking out for number one, which is themselves. Self-preservation is number one. And that's why, like, I can't believe, like, the Bible. It's like, oh, yeah, all these people wrote all these things. And I'm like, yeah, for themselves. I'm sure they, you know, me seeing man as evil, I'm like, okay, well, you know, everyone has their own biases, and they're going to be writing about this and that. And, I mean, that's always been my thing against religion, especially seeing the four walls of, like, Christian churches, Catholic churches, and how evil the people that are in there are. I think that's just like kept me away from religion in general. And again, this is just the version in the United States, right? That I'm, you know, you go to these churches and you walk in and everyone looks at you like you're crazy. Like, what are you doing here? Like, you're not welcome. You know, I've had those experiences before when I walked into a place and they're like, what is this fool doing here? You know? And it's,
you didn't feel welcome?
No, it's happened. It's happened to me at that big Russian church. I went in there one time on a Sunday.
Really?
They just looked at me like I was trash. It was crazy. Yeah, like I shouldn't have been there because everyone is all dressed up to the T, you know. And
you wearing flip flops?
No, dude, I was just regular.
Bro, you gotta go in there dressed.
Yeah, so right now I'm like going down this rabbit hole of like the Book of Enoch, the Gnostic Gospels.
Oh, nice.
The
Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
Yes, the Peter, the John, like just all those, you know. And I've been like kind of. Like I'm trying. I have a theory that it's all. I know it's all connected somehow, but I think it's all connected from the Bible, from the First Testament. The what is it?
The Old Testament.
The Old Testament. The New Testament. The Quran. The Gnostic Gospels.
Yeah.
I think that's all connected somehow, man. And I think at some point I feel like I'm onto something, man. And I don't know if maybe this has already been like looked at. And like I have a theory on the Shroud of Turin, because that's been like proven as like there's just no way science can prove that it's proven to be real, right? I don't know if you looked into the
I know a lot about it. Yeah,
the Shroud of Turin, like the amount of energy that needed to be created in order for that to be imprinted on there is like a ton.
Have you heard of the Sudarium of Oviedo?
No, what is that?
So it's basically the Shroud of Turin is where Jesus was wrapped when he died, and they took him down from the cross.
Yeah.
The Sudarium of Oviedo, you guys probably recognize the word sudor. Sudor means sweat. So it was to wipe his face, and I think they put it over him also. So they wrapped his body with the shroud, and then they even more. And I might be mistaken whether he wiped his blood off, or it might have been at the moment of death. The Sudarium.
I know what you're talking about.
Was another cloth on his face. The Sudarium of Oviedo, it's called Oviedo because it's Spain, and then Turin is in Italy, so there are two different places, and then when they compare them both, everything matches up.
Same blood.
Everything, millimeter by millimeter, even the blood stains match up completely.
Yeah.
So, in a way, and that's one of the things that I'm like, okay, so you can almost historically prove that Jesus was crucified.
I'm fully convinced that he was.
Like it's just almost a historical fact. Even non-religious scholars agree on that.
To me, from what I understand, it's a historical fact that a man named Jesus did walk the earth.
Yep.
A man named Jesus did get crucified, and a man named Jesus did resurrect.
Yeah, and so that's what basically, if you believe in that, then you and you have a faith in Christ, it makes you Christian. You know. So,
yeah.
But yeah, of course you'll never know if everything is completely true.
So
by the way, I can say this to you. You can ask Jesus, you can ask God, you can say,
I think that's,
show me, and then a lot of times, man, I promise, he will show you and he'll give you those
I think
answers.
that's where my ego is stepping in, man, and I just haven't done that yet. I haven't gone there. And I don't know,
What's
maybe
stopping you?
I don't know. Ego, I guess.
Well, what ego for what? Are you going to rule the world?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I guess I gotta just figure out for myself, right? And so check this out. This is where your tinfoil hat's gonna go on top of your head. So the amount of power that was generated in order to create the image on the shroud, right? It would be a ton. I think in the Bible it says that it was like a huge flash of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what if that amount of power is what it takes to restart a soul, after you're dead? Like,
isn't it scientifically discussed that when you die you lose like a gram of weight?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. They've
like literally that kind of says that there's something weighing at least a gram. It's measurable.
Yeah. That could be some gas though. You just fart out after you die. I mean, I don't know how soon after you die.
It could be more than a gram too. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah, there was a measurement. I just see that. So my theory is, all right, and this is where again tinfoil hat, right? Because do you believe in aliens?
I don't know if I believe in aliens. I think there's a lot of evidence for aliens. A lot.
Have you seen the documentary?
What does it mean to believe in aliens? Like, do I believe they exist?
Okay,
is that the question?
Do you believe we're alone?
That are not a part of our
do you
world.
believe that we're alone in the universe?
And it's like, do you believe in their gospels? No, I'm just kidding. The alien gospels. No. No, I believe that they probably exist. Yes, and it's not. It's not even that I've gone down rabbit holes and I believe fully. It's more so that. Yeah, there's even on the surface level basic research. You're like, yeah, there's something there.
Okay, so there's recently a documentary that came out called The Age of Disclosure, and it's basically a bunch of people that worked in the U.S. government that say, like, for a fact, the United States government and other governments in the world have obtained aircrafts not of this world, crafts not of this world.
That's what Bob Lazar talks about, right? That
so we did a podcast on him.
Reverse engineered some out of extraterrestrial aircraft. And, I mean, if that guy's saying it and he hasn't changed his story even a little bit for however many years, you kind of have to listen to the guy. Which is crazy. That is, but I think
so. It all checks out because the way like this documentary came out in 2025, a few months ago, and they're talking about the propulsion, and there's no propulsion when it comes to the UFOs, and the way they describe the propulsion is kind of the same thing that Bob Lazar is describing it as being they generate their own space time kind of like circle, and they're inside of it, and they warp gravity.
Yeah.
So and then to create that amount of force. I think they were saying it's like equivalent to like a month's worth of electricity of the United States, what they're consuming. So when I think about that, I'm like, damn, I wonder if that could be used to like resurrect somebody, you know, like because that's a lot of energy. So my thought is like, what if these aliens, they can generate that kind of power, and they're able to bring someone back, you know? And that's just like, that's just a crazy thought.
I mean, if aliens exist, they have a technology we're not even close to finding out what it is. Because if you can't even reverse engineer, how are you supposed to engineer it? You know, it's so far out of this world, obviously. But I mean, my fiance, she's super into science, and she can explain physics and dimensions and all that. Yeah. And she's like, she went to school for it, so she's graduated and everything. And she'll tell you like, it's a guarantee that there's different dimensions happening all of the time. So then that creates a discussion for, well, maybe in a different dimension, some other species formed and whatever else. So yeah, we see time as very linear, but yeah, like you can basically create cheat codes to like travel through time and space.
So
and all that.
We did a podcast on Atlantis too, and
I could believe in Atlantis.
Yeah, so I think I have another theory with that, and that's why I think everything is connected, man. So I think Atlantis. If you got to bounce, go ahead and bounce, bro. Just go out the side of the door. So we did a podcast on Atlantis, and what's it called again? My theory is that I think Atlantis did exist, and I think those people that went under the water had to come up with this technology. Oh, the dogs are probably gonna come in. Or you know what, dude? Just open the garage, bro. Yeah. And punch yourself in the face on the way out. Huh? Oh yeah, turn it off. You got to bounce too, Danny, or what? Are you gonna close the garage? All right, bro. My theory is, and I think I've heard other people say this, but I think that Atlantis took down those people with them, and I think those people had built that technology to warp space time and gravity in order to be able to live down there, because a lot of UFO activity is connected to the ocean.
Well, we know more about space than we do about the ocean, don't we?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
We've mapped 25% of the ocean floor, and we've only explored like 5% of it.
Because we all implode after a certain depth.
Exactly.
Implode, so we literally cannot go. Space, we can go to Mars. We can keep traveling. We'll get lost in space forever, but we can try to attempt to go to those places. But when it comes to like the depths of the ocean, you can't. It's literally go like you're gonna implode, bro. Like,
I think you lose color of anything by like 30 meters. You lose color,
and it's just pitch black.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different world. I mean, it's crazy, and I believe in Atlantis too, because if you study some of the great floods that have happened in the past,
everyone talks about it.
Like there was a little country called Malta in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and Malta used to be connected to Italy. But if you look, it looks like an island, and then Italy's over here. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me all of this was inundated with water, and so a lot of times the archaeologists that want to study Malta, because they have a bunch of like, they can trace like 12, almost 10,000-year-old stuff in Malta, which is like out of even human history, because they can't even trace it, and they have to dive. They have like these scuba divers, and they go all the way down, and they're like studying these old structures in the ocean because. There was great floods, and I think throughout human history there's always been great floods. So there's like something that happened.
Well, there's the Younger Dryas theory, which again, that's why I say like everything has to be connected, dude. It has to be like at some point everything's got to like connect, and I think I need to like maybe at some point like put down all my thoughts together, because I feel like everything it's a linear timeline, dude, with everything. From the flood onwards, even from before the flood. But what I don't know if you've looked into like the Gnostic Gospels, but there's like they have their version of God, which being two, the good God from the New Testament and the bad God from the Old Testament. The bad one being like a lion head.
And they also believe in the Anunnaki,
the Nephilim, and
they believe in aliens, and there's a whole different theology.
So why, like, is it possible that they're the right ones, and whoever wrote the actual printed Bible?
Well, here's the thing, man. I don't think anybody ever in his human history is ever going to know how this all came together.
Yeah.
But what you can believe in is, how do I get to heaven, right? Because almost all religions talk about some sort of karma, dharma, in different words.
Yeah.
So I switched my question to not who created this, who's the creator and all that. It's how do I get to heaven? How do I get to a divine next phase of my existence if it continues? And I think the best way to get to heaven is
through religion,
through Jesus. No, through Jesus, like literally through Jesus. I think that's the best way.
You believe in Jesus' teaching, or do you believe Jesus is God?
I believe in. I do believe there's something with the Trinity. You know, the God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Because it's mentioned in a lot of passages. It's in a lot of scripture. And I believe that you can get to heaven through Jesus, because he said it time and time again. And like I said, you can archaeologically back up a lot of what he said.
Yeah.
The Gospels
he definitely existed.
First-hand written accounts of what he said. They all are different enough to be considered legitimate and also close enough to be considered the same tale. And yeah, a lot of it is... I feel like, okay, it's not like who created the world and blah, blah, blah. It's like, how do I get to heaven? I think Jesus Christ is the most direct way to heaven. That's the real question in my eyes, not... Because, we'll never know, but I can almost certainly feel that Jesus Christ is the way to heaven. Think about it. Like, all the people who are super devout from all the different religions of the world, they follow a lot of little things that they have to tick off. Like, okay, we got to pray this many times, like we got to do this, and we have to fast on this month, and then we have to do this one thing in this one day. Jesus came and said, none of that is needed. Just have faith in me, and you will get into heaven. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. I will, and almost all religions believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
And the divinity of Jesus. So that means that he's the one that is across a lot of different belief systems. Obviously, he's not interpreted in the same way.
Yeah.
But if the same guy pops up in a lot of different stories and a lot of different beliefs, there's something to it.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely something to it. I don't know, man. It's just, I guess I got to continue just searching and maybe start asking those questions.
If you want, man, just pray. Just say, hey, God, show me who you are. Show me if it's all true. Just do it maybe 3-4 times, 3-4 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then let me know, because something might happen, man. You might get some answers.
You said you had a moment?
Yeah, the moment was when I was in Egypt, and I saw, because the Coptic Egyptian Christians, the one that do the garbage city recycling, right. They're one of the, if not the oldest branch of Christianity, they're one of them for sure. So those guys have a lineage that literally traces back all the way.
What was the moment, though? Like, is there like a specific thing that happened?
People talking to me, and I felt like it wasn't them talking to me. Damn, it was like Jesus literally was there.
What were they saying to you?
Talking. I don't speak the same languages. I mean, I almost understood what they were telling me. And they were like telling me, you need to spread the word.
Wow.
You need to tell your wife, you must tell your wife about Jesus' word.
Wow.
And at this point in time, my fiance is converting to Christianity, and I didn't do anything.
What was she before?
She was a sub-religious group called the Alevis. They come from eastern Turkey.
Yeah.
So they're a whole different religion. But Jesus is in her religion too. Because when I talk to her parents about Jesus, they know who Jesus is. Mm. So, but no, she converted on her own. But it was like one of those little prophecies that after looking back, I'm like, wait, how did that guy know my fiance was going to convert? And it wasn't like I.
Damn, that is weird. Her. That is super weird.
Yeah. So no, and I'm telling you, like that day felt like an entry into a portal, and then when I exited, it was like I exited a portal in a way.
How long ago was this?
That was like maybe a year ago.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was really nice, and I felt like there was a lot of miracles. And
do you feel like things have gotten better since then, like during your life in general?
I have just grown. I think the only way to get better in life is to gather more knowledge.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are temporary. You know,
what's your goal?
Gather as much knowledge as possible, leave it all behind, and then have people pick up on it later. You know, I may not be around, but at least if you notice all the videos, they're going to stick around. You know, they'll outlive me in some way. Yeah. If not, get a USB flash drive and download them right now so you can keep spreading them later.
I got you, bro.
No, but basically that's a lot of my motivation behind the videos is like I am gathering on a lot of knowledge that a lot of people don't get access to here, and I'm in the places, I'm in the temples, I'm with the people, with the tribes. You gotta make something with this, and then leave it behind. That's all you can really do. I can't tell you I'm gonna be alive tomorrow, the next week, or the next year. But at least those videos have some sort of like no expiration date, unless we all collapse and everybody goes to waste.
No, I think it's amazing what you're doing, man. And it takes a lot of courage again, and it's nice that you were able to find something to give you even more courage to continue on. Because before it was just sheer will, I imagine.
It's a calling.
I'm doing this.
A lot of religions believe in Hinduism. They believe that we all have something we're supposed to be doing, and even if it's like the most humble job in the world, like, hey, I'm just picking up trash on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to gather from Hinduism is like. They believe in it in their own work because that's what they believe they're on this earth to do. So I think that's the real question of people's lives is what am I on earth to do? Am I here to, for example, a lot of people, that's why people find monasticism. They become monks. That's a very obvious one. Like I'm here to spread the word, but then you might be here to help somebody like the uncle that took care of somebody's child because the parents aren't there. That's a calling. So it's not just a job. It's not just like a profession. It's like everybody has some sort of calling in their lifetime, and once you it's like a puzzle piece that just matches perfectly. Once you feel it, you're like, yeah, this is exactly like I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I couldn't, and if I was, that wouldn't feel right. Whatever else I would be doing, it just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my advice to everybody is try to find that one. Like is it could be a creative space. You guys started a podcast. There's something in you that's like. I need some creative. I want to get this could go somewhere, but it's like the birth of something, and it feels right. I mean, the times you've done it so far, it feels right. It feels natural. It feels good.
Yeah. No, it's been a good time, and I mean, it's just getting better at it, right? Mm-hmm. I had one more question for you, and it's again going back to Islam. Okay. Why do you think that they commit some of the like those terrorist attacks that almost seem unprovoked? What do you think is behind that? This is just all speculation, of course, but yeah.
I think that a lot of that comes down to I hate getting into U.S. politics and what they do abroad, but a lot of times those attacks are perpetrated and done with, weapons that got sold to them by us, and like sometimes it doesn't make sense. By the way, I don't know that for a fact, but I can.
This is just speculation.
Yeah, it's like a speculation because I interviewed a lot of people, and that was one of my main reasons to go to Iraq because I had those questions. I was like, Islam, why does this happen in Islam? And I went to like the Eye of the Storm city, which was called Mosul, where ISIS actually took over the full city. 2 million people in that city. It wasn't a small town. And I went to the destroyed houses. I saw the vests and everything that was left. And I was interviewing a bunch of people in that town. I'm like, how is this Islam? And the locals, the real Muslims, are like, this is not Islam. They're using their agenda, or they're using Islam for their agenda. So you have to be really careful in separating whatever ideology, whatever they're pushing compared to Islam. So, I mean, how is it that the locals don't agree with what they do? I mean, if it was like all of Iraq going with ISIS or something like that, you're like, okay, this is a widespread thing. Like all of this entire country wants to do the same as them.
Yeah.
Why did the locals that got their homes destroyed? Like why aren't they with ISIS ideology? And they're real Muslims. They've been there for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And so you just have to always separate religion from ideology. A lot of things get politicized. Even Christianity, if you look at history, a lot of non-Christian beliefs have been propagated, and it's not Christian at all. Like when Christians say you should turn the other cheek, that's what Christianity is all about, right? How many times have Christians not turned the other cheek? How many times have Christians persecuted Jews, for example? In Spain, the Christian kingdoms kicked out Muslims and Jews for no reason, really. That's not a Christian thing. We're supposed to, like he was saying it at the beginning, he's like,
love thy neighbor.
I love my neighbor. Exactly. Another one of the principles, love thy neighbor. You could even die as a martyr. And, a lot of saints in Christianity come from martyrdom. They literally were stuck to their principles and they became saints. So you should always separate whatever little ideology is coming from a select group of people from the main religion. I always study Islam in every country and how it's, like I said, Tunisia is different. They ban polygamy. Saudi Arabia is not like that. Yemen is not like that. Malaysia is not like that. They're all completely different. And there's also schools of thought within Islam that change. So it's all in the nuance. The truth is in the nuance. Don't think the truth is black or white. It's in the nuance. Look for the nuance, and you go, oh, okay, that one group of people decided to take that specific action based on their ideology. So I don't think it's. I think it's gone a bit too far, and I think, I always speak in defense of Muslims, because if you guys went to those countries and they open the doors to their homes like they do, and you get treated the way that they treat you as a complete stranger, you're like, how can these people not be of peace? Like, these people treat me better than my family, and they don't even know me. Yeah,
see, and that's why I separate the religion with the culture or the people that doing it, and a lot of people can't do that. A lot of Americans can't do that. Well, they just put it all together in one thing and say they're all evil. You heard Eric. I mean, he has a very...
But it's just, I hate to say it, but it's just lack of independent investigation. Like, he probably gathers a lot of his knowledge from sources that he gets influenced by, normally. Yeah. Like, we all get, somewhere or another, we get influenced by a bunch of media, whether we like it or not. It shapes our thought.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for thinking the way he does. I always suggest to people, like, look into it, man. Like, it's out there, the age of information. You have a question about Islam and why it's happening, the answer's already there. You could even go on Instagram and find a random account from whatever country, be like, hey, man, I have a question about your country. Guaranteed they'll answer it for you. It can help you shape your thought with a little bit more. Yeah. I'm blessed that I just get to go to the countries themselves, and I get to ask these questions in person. I get to feel the places and all of that.
Yeah.
But I like, once again, I try to live by my values of Christianity too, like, not to judge people.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree with their opinion.
Yeah.
But I just say, do your own independent research.
Okay. And I guess this is the last one, because humor in the world.
Humor.
Yeah. What's something that's like universal? Is there like a fart noise that you can make that everyone wants to like, that's hella funny, like anywhere you go?
Let me think of something. Humor. I think sarcasm is pretty
universal.
Wide, pretty universal, yeah. I think if and it's a way to, like, ice break a little bit in some cultures. Mm-hmm. Like, even when they're talking to you and let's say, hey man, like, we should go there. I'm like, no. And they'll react like what? I'm like, and you're like, just kidding. And then they go, yeah, you're funny, bro.
Okay.
It's like that. Just almost like that childish play.
Yeah.
Which is really what sarcasm is.
Right.
A little bit of childish play, that goes, I've seen that go everywhere.
Really?
Depends if you're in the mood. I'm not going around messing with people all the time.
Yeah, check this out, guys. I'm gonna prank this dude.
Yeah. No, I think it's like a little bit of, like, childishness, but in, like, a very, a sarcastic way. Like, hey, like, for example, let's say you're paying your guide, and your guide, it's $200. Oh, no, I'm not paying you, bro. I'm just kidding. And
they're probably sick about it. They're like, what? This fool's not going to pay me.
And the guy starts laughing, yeah. And there's a lot of cultures that don't laugh as much. Like, we're very expressive. We're always smiling in America. You guys notice, like, when you go abroad, a lot of people are not that smiley. And so sometimes, like, you do need a little bit of humor to crack them open and connect a little bit, too.
Okay.
So I think sarcasm's a very universal thing, but probably fart noises too. Probably fart noises. I came up on this TikTok video of a guy that I don't know what country he's in, but he has like a little button and it creates like
nice
squirty, farty noises, and he'll like act him out. So he'll go, and then he'll press, and then and it's. It makes me laugh very hard. So it reminded me how a simple fart noise can be so funny.
Yeah. Fart noises are humbling, though. Bro, literally anybody.
Have you ever farted in public and you got caught? You were red faced. You were embarrassed.
I own my farts, bro.
Yeah, he just walks around like a militant.
Yeah,
just
like, that shit was mine.
He claims it. Actually, one of those fart videos, the guy like does his, and so most people react like when he farts, like they detour, like you walk in one way, they're like, what's this guy doing? And this guy literally celebrated this dude's fart. He's like, yeah,
that's how it's done.
I was like,
good one, dog.
Yeah, some random dude just arms in the air, straight up celebrating the fart, and I was
that's a man who knows how to live.
But I've only that one guy that I've seen. The rest are like, oh my god, or just start laughing.
It depends. Like if you fart next to me, dude, and like you point your booty at me, and it literally sounds like hellish, like it's just like a bat out of hell, just something disgusting, you might get swung on. But if you make that same sound and you don't point it at me, dude, I'm gonna be like, yo, dude, that was sick, dude.
Impressive. Admire the skill.
Take this, and then I'll just hit him back with some heat.
I hate to say this story, but I think I just read an article from a girl in England, and she kept holding her farts because next to her boyfriend, she just didn't want to fart. And they probably lived together and all that, so she was really holding everything she could in.
Oh yeah.
And she like got super sick, and she went to the hospital, and they were like, "Dude, you need to fart. Like, you've been holding in your farts for this long."
You know what I heard too? I guess if you hold your farts in, they come out as burps.
No.
Yes, that's
I
a
doubt
fact.
that.
It's a fact.
I doubt that.
I could see that
Look it
happening,
up.
but it's usually the other
Yeah.
way.
I promise you. Look it up.
I'm gonna hold in. I'm gonna hold in farts from now on. And I'm gonna see if they come up as burps.
Oh
I
god.
doubt they'll.
They
come
usually
up as
turn
burps.
into like a really uncomfortable feeling
yeah.
on the side.
Like I could believe because it's
This
like a
guy's
buildup of methane gas inside of you. Yeah, but I don't think they come into burps. That'd be crazy.
And
Yeah,
that,
dude, I
that's
got the wildest
that's
food
another
stories.
story that I saw. It was like some dude was farting under his blanket next to his wife, and his wife just happened to sleep under the blanket, like fully covered.
He Dutch ovened her on
And
purpose.
she kept
breathing that
inhaling in over I don't know how many.
methane.
And
Hospitalized.
She got hospitalized. And they're
Yup.
like, dude, you have a lot of. I think it's
methane.
Methane
A lot of
gas.
methane gas.
And they're like, what the fuck's like? How are you guys
Some
sleeping
roast beef,
together?
a chicken, a pizza.
And they're like, oh yeah, like I fought. I mean, the dude must have a big problem with just. I mean, nobody farts every single night. I don't.
Dude,
know.
there's this guy on.
And if you do, you need to change your
yeah,
diet.
dude.
There's this guy on Instagram I've been watching. He's fart maxing.
What does that even mean, dude?
So
Day 17.
So anything maxing is like you can max.
That's
anything.
one thing that has changed ever since I left America. This whole like aura farming terminology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Looks maxing. I've
Yeah,
heard.
so looks
can you
maxing-
explain that to me. I don't know what it is actually.
So looks
Shit,
maxing.
it's
Looks maxing is you're basically doing everything you can to max out your looks.
Oh, okay.
Like you're putting all your XP points into just looks maxing.
Okay.
There's
like plucking your eyebrows,
Everything,
perfect
bro.
Doing the
beard.
most, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
doing the most is basically what it
We
comes
used to call
down
that
to.
metrosexual back in the day.
Yeah.
I guess that word died out.
Oh, yeah.
So fart
it's
maxing-
it just went to the next level where they just became straight up gay.
There you go.
Dude, there you go. So fart maxing is when this dude, he literally has like the video. He's eating the most stuff that you can eat, and just to give you farts.
Oh,
So
I
he's
see.
doing everything he can to just have the worst farts. He's measuring the methane with like this little with this little scale, and then he's measuring the sound with like a freaking sound box or something, dude.
Oh
it's
my
so
gosh.
funny. He's like,
And
yeah.
what's crazy is that tells you a lot about the internet. That he has a following.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Everybody follows
yeah.
something.
He's huge.
and
Yeah.
and if you gather enough momentum, people can follow you.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Dude, fart maxing is so sick, dude. I wish I could do that.
You can.
I mean, I can, but no, I can't. I don't need onions. I don't need like
the-
garlic. I don't need like canned beans.
broccoli, green beans. That cause a lot of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, I remember my first
Cauliflower, some Brussels sprouts.
day
all of them.
Yeah, all at the same
Make
time.
a smoothie.
That's what, dude. I was so gross. I watched him eat like a ton of like stuff to fart max.
There's a guy who...
This guy subscribed to the
Yeah.
channel.
There's a guy who...
I was so excited when I was like, dude, I need the results. He's like, the results in the next video. I was like,
He's
you
on the
better
live stream donating and stuff.
Yeah. This is for
Hey,
the
dude,
next
can you
one.
send me a fart in a jar, bro?
No, there's a guy who
Wouldn't be
tested out-
surprised if some random follower or some
Oh, yeah.
weirdo followers doing that. Yeah.
No, there's a guy who...
I hope someone asks me for a fart. Hey, if you guys want a fart from me, bro, let me know. I'll get you. I'll get you a fart.
It's in the description.
Hey, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see a message.
The links in the description.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, you're gonna. I'm gonna message your YouTube page and be like, hey, bro, can you send me a fart from Egypt, dude?
From
This
Egypt.
travel from Egypt straight to your house.
Or
Man.
no, from India, bro. And I'm gonna have you send it to Eric, bro. He's gonna be so sad, dude.
This dude straight
After the
up
street
in
vendors.
like surface level internet reputations. You know?
Surface level in
Yeah.
internet reputation is. Yeah, I think I would say that's definitely
Like
Eric, dude.
he's seen one or two videos in his life, and it's that's it. You know? That's the one. No, and you tell him like, no. That one video is the truth.
He's a real Mexican, bro. He's stubborn Mexicans. All right, man. Well, it's been great. It's been a good time.
I can't believe more than 2 hours passed.
I know.
Yeah, it's been
No wonder
almost.
podcast lasts so long. You're just
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
here chilling, dude.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But no, I really appreciate you coming by, man. I know you're kind of crunched for time. I know you got a lot going on, a lot of catching up to do with a lot of people, man. So we're really, really excited that you came, and we're really happy that you came. Hopefully next time we meet again, it's under even better circumstances. I know life's pretty good, I would say. But, I mean, hopefully next time it's even better, you know? Yeah. When do you plan on coming back?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to try to come back at least once a year.
Once a year?
I don't want to let too much time pass. My mom and my brother are here. The last couple of times they came out to meet me, so that's also why I came down this time. I was like, you guys have done a couple trips out there, so I'll come here now. But, yeah, thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, there's one more story I wanted to tell, and this is with you. And this guy, and I can cut this out if you don't want me to talk about it, but one day I was sleeping. I think it was a Saturday, and I get a phone call. Right?
Are you talking about recently or when?
Just listen, dude.
Just wait for it.
Just wait for it. So I get a phone call, right? And I'm like, wake up, and it's like, hello. I was like, hey, it's Sam. He's like, go wake up my brother.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that,
dude? Yes. When was that? Last year?
I don't, dude.
3 years ago. Something like that.
No, it was like was it this year? It might have been. It was last year. It was last year.
I think it was last year.
It was last year, and he goes, "Hey, go wake up my brother." Mind you, I've never been in this man's house, and so he sends me his address, and like I don't even know why I did it. Like I must trust him too, you know. It must be something mutual.
This must
here.
be something for real.
Yeah, because I wouldn't. If someone called me and told me to do that right now, I'd be like, yeah, no, there's no way.
Yeah,
true. And then so he calls me and he goes, hey, man, go wake up my brother. I think he missed his alarm. He has to go to work. And then in like an hour, or like not even an hour, in like 30 minutes. So I get up out of my bed. I drive over to his house. He's like, hey, break into my house.
Didn't I tell you where the key was and everything?
He told me where the key was and everything. He told me to knock on the door. I knocked on the door. Your brother has no idea who I am.
I know. He's probably hella scared. Oh, my God.
Dude, I've never met I have met your brother, actually, because we had boxed together.
That's good. That's good. Yeah,
so I didn't know him very little. And, I remember he just gets up. He's, like, shirtless. Like, he's like, his hair is all messed up, bro. I was like, hey, bro, your brother told me to wake you up because you got to go to work. He's like, he's all looking for his phone. He's shook.
Yeah. So apparently, I didn't know what was going on. My mom probably called him. She was away, and he had just gotten a job, and so he was really. I guess he had already called out a couple times, and so it must have been 2 years ago. So my mom was like, "Hey, call your brother. Like he's on thin ice with this new job. Like he can't keep a job or something like that."
Yeah.
Granted, he was literally like his first job. Nobody's perfect, so timekeeping's horrible. Blah blah blah. And then I call him over. He's like, I tried calling him a bunch of times. Like he didn't want to answer, and I'm like, I'm calling him. I'm trying everything, and I'm like, dude, I need to think of something. Like, who lives near the house?
Yeah.
And probably just thought of you or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, dude, like go wake this dude up because he needs to show up at work.
That's literally what he told me.
Yeah.
I remember.
Like, just go wake him. I couldn't think of anybody else that was there. I may have called somebody else and they weren't home or something, or they didn't answer.
Yeah.
And so it was super like my mom was like, you need to figure this out. She almost like gave me the responsibility to figure it out.
And mind you,
I'm in a different country. Like, how am I supposed to
figure that shit out? That's for you.
Yeah, figure it out. You know how moms are with older brothers. They're like, figure it out. You're like, I'm not even there.
I don't even live with you anymore. You're still making this my responsibility.
Dude, it's his job. He's sleeping. It's his alarm. What am I supposed to do from here? Yeah. So, of course, I call him. That was my solution. Dude. That's funny. I'm glad you reminded me of that story. That's a hilarious story that I hope never happens again.
Dude, I literally broke in this man's house. The dog's barking at me.
Dude, hey.
Don't worry about the dogs.
They're just for show.
It's all a trap. I call the cops. Hey, intruder. Gets arrested.
You would have set me up, dude. Oh, I would have been so
He's
sick,
trying to kidnap
dude.
my brother. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. It was tight, though, man. I mean, it was just hella fun, the whole situation. Blaine's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to wake up Sam's brother. Who are you talking about? Sam? Who's Sam?
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I had to tell her, explain the story. Like, I know this dude for a long time now.
The most random favor of your life.
It was very random, but I mean,
Can actually, you guys come up with what's a more random favor that somebody can call it. I mean, that's one of those things you can't even believe. Like, hey, my buddy called me to go wake up his brother that I haven't been to his house. I broke into his house. That doesn't even sound real.
It doesn't sound real at all, dude.
That doesn't even sound real. Oh my god.
Yeah, honestly, I can't think of that other than nothing really. I mean, that's literally the most random thing I've ever heard. This guy's so nice. He's like, dude, I'll even pay for your gas. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? I was like, it's right there.
Just go to do it.
Oh man, that guy was so funny, dude. Yeah, I just remember waking up. He's just shirtless. He has no idea what's going on.
But you did your job because you made it on time.
But he didn't even question it either.
He's like, oh yeah, thanks.
That makes total sense.
No, because I drove him there too.
Oh
Yeah, I gave him a ride there too.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Thanks.
No.
There you go.
Yeah, I waited for him outside, and I was like, "Hey."
He waited a whole shift outside.
I was like, "No."
Just tell me when you get off.
I'm pretty sure
he's knocked out in the car.
Yeah. Here's my number.
Your wife's like, "Where you at?" Like, just chill.
Waiting for it, dude. Just waiting for him to get off.
He's working a
I
shift.
have a job to do.
Yeah, he's working a shift.
I was given
so
a
I gotta
task.
wait.
Yeah.
I was given a task from a European man. I need to.
I need to follow through.
My submissiveness kicked in. I gotta follow all these commands. I submit to this guy.
All right. Well, thank you again, man. Everyone, I'm gonna link all his socials in the description. The Surreal Traveler. Please check him out. I promise you guys, it's gonna be one of the best channels you've ever watched. And if you don't think so, then you can run my fade. But yeah, man. Do you have anything else you want to tell the people?
Well, no, thanks to you guys for first of all, nice seeing you guys. That's the most important thing. And yeah, if you, hopefully something got learned from this. But if it hasn't, it's like mostly what he was saying is be kind to all people, even if they're not being the nicest to you, and whatever opinions people hold, try to look into it yourselves. And always think of who would I be? What would I do if I was in their shoes? And that's really how you get to the bottom, or the feeling of people you'll never really have a connection with. And I think that a lot of good things will happen in life. So yeah, just be a good person and follow those things.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been episode 9.
Yes, sir.
HYST.